step by step.
So after you go there.
I'm sorry, Doug. Hey, Lauren.
How are you?
Good, how are you? Thanks for coming. Of course. Yep, I'm Ashley, so thanks for coming. Nice to meet you. I got you 2 waters up here in case you
Perfect.
need them. But we have Zoom ready to go. Zoom's good. And then, I do have this up as a PDF.
Okay.
If that's okay. And then if you get to the portion where you want to like demo some things.
Yeah.
This itself is a computer.
Okay.
This is just the keyboard and mouse that go to it. So you can just like click the browser screen and kind of move it that way. So, awesome. Any questions before you get started?
I think I'm good. I'm just gonna log into a couple things real quick.
Perfect. Go for it. Sorry, what?
No, take care of this. This is the. So my.
We'll catch up later.
Basically how to do it.
And
Okay,
then I said, no, that's not what I want.
yeah,
Then it gave me Visio, but I don't. I don't have Visio, so. I
And then you
converted
actually-
it to a PDF. This is what it.
it's like
So
close.
not. It's better than any, when they tried to do it in Excel, it didn't
Yeah.
work. This is the closest
That it's gotten.
that it's gotten. That's why I'm like, okay, no, just I can modify this. If I have Visio,
Yeah.
which I have the Excel. Those few things.
Sounds
Small fee. Add Visio.
of course, for a small fee.
Small monthly fee.
Yeah, you have to sign up for a year.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Excuse me, sir, can I get you to sign in just so we can have attendance? I'm Ashley, by the way. So nice to meet-
Bradley.
Oh, nice to
I
meet
think we
you.
did.
I did. Awesome. I'm so glad you made it.
Thank you,
It's
thank
gonna
you.
be so good.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
I was gonna say, you're supposed to sign in.
Yes. ma'am. Actually, nice to meet you. Okay. All right, awesome. What about the Okay. Awesome. How do you have-
Thank you. Thank you.
As soon as you're ready to onboard, I'll be your girl. I'll be helping you, so. Yeah.
Someone said.
Okay. Why do you have it? If you're gonna roll my.
I think that's.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it presenter view just because there's a couple of those that pop up.
Gotcha. Yep. Yeah, I meant to warn you, our HDMI connector is very finicky, so we
That's
don't
alright.
usually recommend going that way, so.
I go to a lot of market centers, so I'm used to kind of just pivoting, whatever,
Good.
whatever you guys have available, so.
Hi, Dad. This is my second cousin twice removed.
Yeah, we're like.
I'll follow that, I'll follow that.
I don't know, right?
Nice to meet you. Yeah, okay. Then he's got a plan. We gotta.
Whoa.
No, commercial leases are fun.
Yeah.
Sure. Why did we already start? Hi. It's nice to see you again. I know we saw each other at Emily Reunions, but I know important. Hey there, girl. Right, yeah.
Run center.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Be here at all these, go to
Good
all these
morning, Lauren.
classes.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Everyone that you can.
Lauren.
Officially nice to meet you.
too.
Thanks for being here
Of
today.
course. I'm just logging into a few things.
Okay, awesome.
Oh, okay. Okay, good job.
Yeah.
And I checked that.
Yeah, you're not moving things, I'm sure we want to think,
Oh,
well, let me know.
Yeah.
They gotta be the one to show.
So what I'm gonna do is show you,
All right.
I'm gonna set up a search.
Sorry.
I'm gonna CC on it on them. So just the people.
But then you hired.
Of everything here. You remember all of them, that's right. Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, all good, all right.
Never in a million years.
Knowing that it's in. That you can make it.
And then you have your phone on everything.
Yep. It's a blessing and a curse. Keep it safe, but also.
It has turned. Yes. It has really come into its own. Taking this. Well, my only problem, I can't see that screen. Did you hear that? I can't whisper either. When I'm drinking, I'm way bad, way bad. So that's it. And I just got in glasses. It's like church, we want to sit back.
I like how your coat pants is brutal.
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious.
I've gotten like a blood in your hands. My kids call us. You only like want to sit up front, but I actually want to see them.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm Michelle Loveless. I think we tried to go up on Canada.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's we immediately found her another house
Yeah.
and she closed and she's so happy because it's right around the corner from her dad.
Yeah,
So it wasn't meant to be.
yeah, he called and was like, actually, I found my own fire. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Saves me, I guess. Sure, I know how to.
They are gonna roll in at 9:05 and say, what did you say? Can you tell how many we have on Zoom, actually?
So this is when.
Waters, but about 8 or 9.
So, I think Ashley, this is Bradley. Have you had that?
Yes, yes.
And I'm using the free one, so I know I'm not really doing.
Okay, I did. receive that. It was how I would
Okay, well, you all were here on time. You all were here on time on Zoom land. Lauren is ready to rock, so I will respect everybody's time here. I'm gonna introduce Lauren, and I had to write it because I didn't want to leave anything out. She's quite impressive. So first of all, thank you for being here. We're super excited to have you. For those of you that don't know Lauren Lucas, she is a nationally recognized real estate entrepreneur, AI strategist, and business coach dedicated to helping professionals build scalable, sustainable businesses. She's helped over 600 families, and she runs a multi-7-figure real estate enterprise. She is pioneering AI integrated systems. You've traveled all over the country doing this class, so we are so fortunate to have her today. Her mission is to empower individuals to transform their financial futures through innovative strategies and intentional action. She is a speaker and a coach. She leads workshops and seminars on AI-powered business strategies, automation, and scaling without burnout. How exciting does that sound? Right? Her approach combines data-driven insights and authentic storytelling to inspire and equip audiences for lasting success. So, everybody, Lauren Lucas.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know me, I am part of Classic Properties in Upper Arlington. I've been there for 9 years, which is crazy to think about. I got licensed in 17 and we started the LKW home team in 2019. So we have been part of the before the crazy, after the crazy, and during the crazy. And basically what happened with us is from 2023 going into 2024, we found ourselves with a team of 7. And 2 went off to be on their own. 1 was a part-time agent who got out of the business, and 1 just left altogether. So we had to uphold our 120, 150 units per year with only 3 agents last year. So that's how I got into the AI and figuring out what we could do, what we could automate to keep our business where it was with about 67% less of a team. So that's how this all started. I'll be honest with you, in the beginning, I was super skeptical. I thought that AI was just another shiny object that we were all seeing, because we get a lot of those in the real estate world. But the more I tried to break it and the more I tried to prove it wrong, the more impressed I was with it. So I have spent the last 18 months, tens of thousands of dollars, a lot of late nights on YouTube. And I'm here to streamline all of that learning for you guys. So I'm very interactive. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. I'm an open book. I will tell you the good, the bad, the ugly of everything. But I am here to make your life easier and more efficient. So does anyone have any questions before we get started? Awesome. How many people are actually on ChatGPT, whether it's the free version or the paid version? Good. How many people are on the paid version, the $20 at least? About 4. Good. That's pretty typical what I see. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to start kind of with that 30,000 foot view of what you can do to be more efficient in using AI. And by the end of this, we're going to get super tactical and you're going to walk away with something that you can implement today if you want. All right. So I cut out all the fluff of who I am because you guys should know a little bit about me being in our market. But I first wanted to start with AI is not coming. AI has already been here. So ChatGPT came out in late 2022, and it has evolved miraculously over the last even 6 months. 2024, it was 2xing every 6 months. Now it's 10xing every 30 days. So don't think that you're behind. Being in this room, you are already eons ahead of a lot of people. But if you are on the free version of ChatGPT, I encourage you to at least step up to the $28 version because it's going to save you a lot of time, energy, and effort and change your world. First, I want to say AI is not here to replace you, right? A lot of people think their jobs are going to be taken and some are, but in the real estate world, the agents who are utilizing the AI are the ones who are going to actually disrupt. So they're going to get further and faster ahead because they're actually using AI to grow and scale their business. And like she said, without the burnout, right? So this is not about automating robotic things. This is about you freeing up the tedious and mundane tasks that you do to allow you more time and energy to spend in that relationship building, to spend face-to-face with your clients and building those relationships. So in the next 90 minutes, probably 60, I'm going to show you that 30,000 foot view and then we're going to get right into it. And I'm going to teach you my exact strategies of how I have grown and scaled our business to 75% automation. So anything that you have on Zoom, please feel free to drop it in the chat. I've got the chat box up here. And like I said, anyone in the room, please feel free to raise your hand. So first, let's start with a couple of myth busters. A lot of people are hearing a lot of noise about AI, so we're going to bust a couple of those myths right off the bat. Like I said, AI is not here to replace you, but the agents who are using AI will absolutely be dominating the market in the next 2 to 5 years. I hear all the time, AI is too complicated. I promise you, if you can use Google, you can use AI. It's just a matter of understanding how to best use it. And when I say this, I am not saying it to be condescending. My 10-year-old and I are building his own AI game right now. So if he can do it, I promise you, you can do it. It's just a matter of understanding how to best utilize it in your business. AI is not necessary. How many of you remember when the MLS went from a book to online? Or when Zillow came around? Or when social media, building a personal brand? All of these things, the early adopters are the ones who actually utilized it best and were able to scale. And that's exactly where we're at today with AI. Sure, it's been around for a couple of years now, but there are very few people who are using it. And if they are using it, probably not using it correctly. AI is expensive. I'll be honest with you, if you take the road that I did, yes, it can be very expensive. I did every single trial, every 7-day, 14-day, forgot to cancel most of them. And I spent a lot of time, energy, and effort and dollars to actually learn this as it was growing. So my goal today is to take everything that I've learned in the last 18 months and give it to you on a silver platter for you to implement. Overall, though, like I said, it will save you a lot of money in either growing a team, having multiple platforms condensed into one. So overall, it's actually going to save you money in the long haul as long as you don't do what I did. And lastly, AI isn't personal. I hear this all the time and I tell you again, it's not here to replace the job that you're doing. It's here to free up your time so you can get more personal and build those relationships. AI is completely customizable. So you can actually train it on your brand voice, your frequently asked questions, who you are. You can make it Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek. You can make it Johnny Depp. You can make it whoever you want. It's all customizable as long as you know and understand how to customize it best for your business. I hear a lot of times, and like she said, I do travel all over the nation. I've been to San Diego, I've been on international stages, I've been in Atlanta. I hear all the time from agents, what makes you feel stuck in this business? And a lot of agents are saying chasing the cold lead, right? How many tire kickers do we get? Whether you're running ads or open houses, buyers or liars, right? We hear it all the time. Inconsistent income is one that I hear often, where we are so busy doing the thing that we're not prospecting and then it drops off, right? So AI is going to help you keep that consistent income without having to chase those cold leads. And we're not getting stuck in follow-up anymore. We all hear 7 to 10 times is what it takes to follow up, right? How frustrating, how daunting is it to continuously follow up? So I'm going to show you ways that we can get AI to do all of that follow-up for us. So those tedious, mundane tasks, all of that admin work, I'm going to show you today how to actually automate all of that. So we're going to start with a 5-step framework. So this is exactly how I teach someone who has no idea anything about AI, what we can do, just in 5 steps to get you automated. This is called the Spark method. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to spot the bottlenecks in your business. The best and easiest way to do that is whether you take a piece of paper or a whiteboard, figuring out every single workflow from start to finish that you do in your business. Whether that is a new lead comes in, what happens next, all the way through actually setting the appointment. An open house lead, a Facebook lead, it doesn't matter. They're all the same when it comes to a workflow. Other bottlenecks could be communication with clients, internal communications within your team if you have a team, onboarding clients, offboarding clients, getting Google reviews. We have a bajillion different things we do every single day. So spotting where you're getting stuck in your own business is step 1. So what is killing your growth? Is it leads, time, teams, tech? And I empower you to really sit down and figure out in your day-to-day what that is within your own specific business. Because the more granular you get with it, the more niche down you get, the better that you're going to get the AI to give you the outputs you're looking for. And we'll go over all of that here in the second part of this class. You can't fix what you don't diagnose, right? So if you do have a system or a process that is a little bit broken or has too many hands in the cookie jar or just doesn't have the speed to lead that you're looking for, those are the types of things that we're going to 30,000-foot view, whiteboard, or write down in that paper. So that's step 1. That's kind of the top of the funnel, if you will, of understanding what we need the AI to do for us. Step 2 is where can we plug in AI? So after we have that 30,000-foot view drawn out, we want to start to understand where we could implement different platforms of AI to take a lot of that heavy lifting off of our plate. So is it automated lead gen and follow-up? That's huge. That takes hours of our time, whether you have, yourself doing it, an assistant, an ISA, it doesn't matter. It's hours of time to actually get the lead generation and all of that follow-up to a point where those people are actually booking on your calendar. We can automate deal analysis. So especially if you work for investors or with investors, I spoke at a international conference in February for real estate investing. And there's 12 speakers and each one of us was saving hours of time for investors on how they can, actually find the deals, analyze the deals, cut the time in fraction of time for their contractors and things like that, making sure that their ARV and their cost analysis are all complete. You can get AI to do all of that for you. So what used to take me 3-4 days, I can now do in a matter of hours. We can automate systems and processes. So like I said, whether that's an external, maybe onboarding a new client, whether that's training someone internally, we can automate systems and processes throughout our business once we're able to recognize where those bottlenecks are. So this is going to be that 20,000-foot view. So once we recognize what it is, where can we plug in AI is step 2. Any questions so far? I can talk about this stuff all day, so please don't be shy. Step 3, we're going to automate your authority. So again, this is not going to be robotic responses. This is going to be specific to your brand voice, your tonality, the way you speak, the way you write. And we're going to start to automate all of this. So we can use the AI and create AI-powered content at scale. We can create AI-powered social proof. So for example, what that means is in our business, when we are finished with a client after closing, we not only automate asking for the review, but we actually have a bot trained and connected to Google My Business where it will read the review, analyze it, and respond to that person on what they said. It's not a canned thank you. It is, thank you, Nicole, for saying that Lauren was a great agent when you bought in Clintonville. And it's actually reading and analyzing what that person is responding. And the best part about this is you can actually beat the algorithms by training the AI on what your SEO keywords are for your business. So for example, if you're an agent who works specifically in Worthington with condos, you could train the AI to use those SEI powered keywords that's going to rank you higher in Google. So now we've automated asking for the review. We've automated responding to the review, and we're training the bots to respond with those keywords that are going to drive us up the Google rankings. So without us lifting a finger now, we're looking better and better to Google, and we're getting more reviews, and we're responding, which shows that we're interacting with our own business on Google My Business. Local dominance. So whether you blog or newsletters or create content at your local coffee shops and things like that, we can automate all of that local dominance within your own niche, within your own demographic of who you want to work with. And this is that 10,000-foot view. So as we take these steps, we're getting closer and closer to the tactical information on how we can actually utilize the AI. Step 4 is we're going to reinforce the path. So we're going to systematize what actually moves the needle. Has anyone ever heard of the Eisenhower matrix where it's either urgent and, what is it? Urgent, important, urgent, not important, important but urgent, not important, not urgent. So this is where we can utilize the AI to say, hey, AI, I have no idea what I should do today or how I can systematize this. Here's the 50 tasks that I have to complete every single day. Using the Eisenhower matrix, how can I actually figure out what is important, what's not?
Say that one more time.
What?
Did you just say put your to-do list in?
Oh, yeah. Put your to-do list in and say, using the Eisenhower matrix, how can I figure out what I should automate, delegate, whatever it is. It'll do all the heavy lifting for you. All right, that's it. I'm done. You got that. So we're gonna figure out what to systematize, what actually moves the needle. We can automate our SOPs. So anything that you have for, whether it's an ISA, transaction coordinator, things like that, you can dump the entire SOP into AI and have it optimize it, analyze it, cut out the fat. And what you can use the AI to is to walk it through that system, so it's actually building that SOP for you,
What's an SOP?
a standard operating procedure.
Okay.
So that's what, to actually scale your business, I highly recommend you use SOPs, so every time you do anything, it's the same process, same procedure. And if you're ever stepping out on vacation, you make a new hire, anything like that, you have a document that you can hand off to the next person. That's dummy proof in a sense that anyone can go down the checklist and actually do the same process in the same way every single time.
You had mentioned earlier about training it to speak in your voice.
Yeah.
Is, I don't know anything about AI. What is it? Does that mean like I hit the microphone button and I just started
Yeah.
speaking, or is it based off of like past?
Yeah, so you can do a couple different things. If you wanted to just turn on the microphone and just speak and articulate it in a way that you would have a conversation, it will start to learn words you use, how you speak, tonality and things like that. If you're already writing newsletters and blogs, you could dump all of your past writings into it and say, you know, here's everything that I've already done. Please learn this and write and, you know, kind of regurgitate anything moving forward in this same tonality and this same writing format. Yeah.
Speaking on the speaking element, how long does it take AI to, you have to talk into it to get your voice in?
That's a good
Outright.
question. So if you're already using it and you are on the $20 version, about 6 weeks ago, they pulled out a new update that it will actually start to learn and memorize what you're telling it. So it will start to save the information if you're on the $20 version. You've been doing that for a couple of months, it already knows you better than you think it does. If you're on the free version, it's not saving anything. So you're having to prompt it over and over and over every time you get in there because it doesn't have that memory capability.
Okay.
So what I would do, and the fastest way to get it to understand you is start to dump in your website, anything that you've already written, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, and just drop the URLs in there and have it analyze who your demographic is, who you're speaking to, what your messaging is. And then it will actually help you optimize that to better find. So for example, I was working with a team out of consultants a couple weeks ago, and I said, hey, who's your ideal client? And they told me, and I said, okay, great, let's pull your Instagram and see if the AI thinks that that's your ideal client too. And it didn't.
Okay.
Their messaging was off. So what we did was a little bit of tweak, and we said, okay, this is what you think our demographic is based upon the content that we're actually producing. This is who we want our demographic to be. And it was like downsizers and, you know, people who have a house to sell, kids are involved. And so we use the AI to tweak their messaging and actually have their content now speak to their ideal client instead of kind of throwing spaghetti against a wall and hoping their ideal client will find it. Yeah. Yep. Next, we can build AI bots that will run 24/7. So if I had to guess, probably 125 bots at any given point. Are they all running 24/7? No, but there are a few who I keep 24/7 that they're scraping different, you know, news articles or posting to different social medias and, you know, all these different things. You can have it run 24/7 or manually, it's up to you. But the beauty of the AI is if you set it up one time, 90% of the heavy lifting is done. So that's our 1,000-foot view. And then our fifth is to keep it simple to scale. So once we actually get, here's what our workflows are, here's the AI we could do, here's our authority that we're building, and we actually nail it down to, hey, this is going to be something that will work for my business, then we start to scale it. And this is where we start to eliminate the complexity and the chaos, the back and forth. We no longer have Frankenstein systems that are kind of pieced together. I know for me, we used to have this website for a survey, this website for our CRM, this website did our social media, and it was kind of Frankensteining together, which is a lot of A, cost, because you're paying for different platforms. B, you've got to remember which one does what. Whereas with the AI, we can start to integrate these systems together and have the AI do all of the talking between the platforms for us. And then clarity and automation creates velocity. So once we have those clear workflows that we want to automate, we actually plug in the AI. That's where we start to actually scale without the burnout. And once we start to get some momentum going, that's where we really start to see the influx in lead generation or whatever it is that you're looking to do within your business. I will say, one of the things I will definitely recommend is if you're going to get to this point where you're scaling with the AI, we gotta make sure the foundations work first. There's no sense in us creating a lead generation machine that will bring in hundreds of leads if we don't have workflows set up that are already automated, because that's just gonna give us more work, more chaos, more complexity. So with what we're gonna go over today, you could absolutely automate 75% of your business in the next 90 days if you implement. It took me a little bit longer because I was at nights burning both ends of the candle with some YouTube, but I'm gonna give you everything that I had gone through, everything that I learned, and again, without burnout, without having to hire a big team, and without losing that personal touch, which I know is very important to a lot of us, because we are in the relationship building business. All right, so where do we start? In our world, just like I was skeptical about AI, we have a lot of noise. We have a lot of things thrown at us. We have a lot of classes to attend, a lot of updates and things like that. So we're going to start with efficiency. How can we use AI to become more efficient in our business? The first platform I want to introduce you to is Notebook LM. Has anyone used Notebook LM yet? I'm gonna blow your mind. So Notebook LM is a Google platform. It is free. What Notebook LM does for you is if you were to say, there's a YouTube video that I really am interested in learning about, but it's 3 hours long and I don't have time. Or I'm really interested in what these condo documents have to say, but it's 84 pages and I don't have time to go through it. Notebook LM allows you to add in different sources. So you could upload PDFs, you could connect your Google Drive, you could pull in different YouTube videos, you could copy and paste anything that you want. What Notebook LM does is it becomes your AI expert on whatever source of information you give it. So for example, I had a conversation 2 weeks ago with someone who does a lot of online coaching. And they have a full team who goes through all of the content and builds out workbooks and content and all this based on hours and hours and hours of these coaching calls. And what they were able to do is now they just take all of the links of the videos of those coaching calls. So say they do it 5 times a week times 1 hour. That's 20 hours of content per month. They dump all of that now into Notebook LM. And this AI chatbot now is only working off of the sources that you give it. So it's not out there scraping the internet like ChatGPT is. Right? It's not guessing what you're trying to do. It's only working off of the sources that you're giving it. So now you've got this AI chatbot here that I can come in here and say, I am a real estate agent in Columbus, Ohio. Based upon, and I just put one of my own 1 hour, 1 hour and a half videos in here. Based upon this video, what are the 5 key takeaways that could change my business? And now this chatbot is only watching and analyzing this one YouTube video that I've put in there. So my response from the chat is going to be very specific to that source of information. So what it's doing is right now you see those 3 dots. It's actually going through and watching that video, reading the transcript, and understanding now that I'm a Columbus agent and I want the top 5 takeaways. So boom, as a real estate agent in Columbus, leveraging AI as outlined in the provided video could significantly transform your business operations and market position. AI enables significant efficiency gains and market dominance. And then it gives me a full rundown of what information in that specific video it's pulling to tell me that this is one of the top 5 key takeaways. And it's sourcing where that's coming from. So I can click on this little one, which is a citation, and read the exact transcript from that exact video as to why it thinks that that is one of the key takeaways I should take away.
As we get this information
Yeah,
and we take it and go forward with it, do we have to worry about citing where it comes from in documents that we would produce?
it depends on what you're producing.
Okay,
Yeah, if you're writing like a newsletter or, a white paper or something like that, absolutely, because the last thing you want is copyright.
yeah,
And because you're pulling it from a specific source, say this was a Gary Vee video. I wouldn't go out there quoting Gary Vee without giving Gary Vee credit, right? Now, since this is my own video. And I'm not a copyright trademarked person, if you wanted to take this information and create social media, I'm not gonna come after you. So it really depends on what the information is and how you're using it.
be careful.
But yeah, I mean, there's citations for a reason, right? So just know where the information is going, and be smart about it. So this is breaking down the 5. So AI enables significant efficiency, automated lead generation and nurturing for client acquisition, enhanced client experience and transaction automation, strategic content creation. So now, instead of watching this, call it 90-minute video, within just a matter of seconds, I've got the 5 things that I, as a Columbus real estate agent, should take away from this video. And now I can have this one chatbot do anything I possibly could ask for it. So if I wanted to, say, create me a 30-day, social media, actually a 30-day, curriculum, so I can learn this information. Enter. Again, it's gonna go through and analyze this one source, and it's gonna break down over the next 30 days what I should be studying based on this video to learn this information. So week 1, laying the foundation. Watch this, learn that. Day 2, AI versus ChatGPT. Watch this part, learn this. Here's your action. So it'll actually build you out an action plan based off of anything that you give it. And again, I just used one of my videos to keep it short and sweet for you guys. But imagine if you came through here and took, I don't know, the Tom Ferrys, the Grant Cardones, the Ryan Serhants, and dumped in hours and hours and hours of content. And now you have a chatbot who's gonna answer all your questions based upon that content without you actually having to watch the content. It's gonna make everything much more efficient and save hours of your time.
Hey, Tom, come here real quick.
Who's Tom? Where are we going? So this is the chatbot that is connected to this.
Do you use Notebook LM? It's a chat GPT, it's a AI. It's free, it's with Google, and you can download videos, PDFs,
Hey there, listen.
whatever. And you can like set up folders and stuff, and it learns whatever you put in.
Laura, can you put yourself on mute, please? Thank you.
Here we go. All good. All right. So based off of the.
Yeah, Tom.
Based off of the chatbot itself, any questions so far? Yes.
So do you have the ability to put in more than one video?
Yes.
And it was summarized?
Yep, so all you'd have to do, let me just go back here. It's notebooklm.google.com. It's a free platform. And all you would have to do is hit create new to build a new notebook. And then you can drag and drop any source that you have. So this could be PDFs. You could connect it to your Google Drive. You could drop in YouTube links. It can be any source that you could pull from basically anywhere.
Can you have more than one notebook?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So you can have several different.
Oh, yeah. You look at mine, I've got probably what, 15 or so here. And they're all different. And that's the beauty of it, is like this chatbot that's trained on our team has no knowledge of this chatbot that's only trained on this one YouTube video. So each notebook is independent of its own, which is the beauty of it, because ChatGPT, unless you know how to prompt it correctly, which is a whole class in and of itself, it's going to try to assume try to predict, go scrape the internet. It's not working off of just the sources that you're giving it. Notebook LM is only viewing the sources that you're giving it. So if you had, you know, a huge development project that you're working on, or a market analysis that you wanted to do, you could take all the Zillows, all the past sales, all the MLS information, all, you know, the builder, like all of it, and dump all of this into that. And then that's the one thing that this notebook is going to do, is analyze that information based upon what you've given it.
So Lauren, what I'm hearing you is ChatGPT, and that always searches the internet.
Not always,
It-
but it was trained on millions and millions of pieces of content.
Okay,
And then they did give it website capabilities. So unless you know how to prompt it and say, you are this person, this is the one thing I want you to do, it tries to predict and anticipate what you're trying to get it to do.
okay.
This Notebook LM is
Narrows it
only
right to that.
focused on what you're giving it, so
Okay.
it's not predicting, it's not anticipating, it's not going out and finding other sources. So this is more for, I've got this one thing I want to learn, or yeah, very specific information. And then you've got a very specific chatbot. So for example, if you wanted to, do you have a team or are you a solo agent?
Just my wife and myself.
Okay, so if you wanted to dump all of your information in here, everything you've ever written, all the work that you've ever done, all the sales you've ever done, you could use this notebook to create basically a business analysis, a business plan, you know, pivot you can use it for anything. Yep. All right, so this is the chat bot. This is just the pinky finger of what Notebook LM can do. All right. Next up, what it can do is down here in the notes section, you can create study guides, frequently asked questions, briefing documents, timelines. You can create all these different documents based off of whatever source you're giving it. So for example, say I did want to watch Gary Vee and he had 30 hours of content that I just don't have time to watch. I could dump every single link in here, hit create study guide or frequently asked questions, and based off of those sources I gave it, it will create me something like, if I just click this, it's going to take a minute, but it will create me something like this. So here's my study guide specific to this link. It'll break it down into each of the different core concepts, the different tools that are talked about in this video, practical implications, implementations, business growth, and then it'll give you a quiz. So it will literally streamline hours of your time by saying, now you have a chatbot who will answer your questions in real time. And now let's do a quick study guide to make sure you're retaining the information based upon what the chatbot's helping you do.
Can you create like a audio type book where you're out walking and like want to listen to it while you're.
It already does it for you.
God bless me, Jesus.
Not only does it do it for you, so this portion up here, the audio overview, is 2 AI podcast hosts who will talk to each other, and basically it's just a podcast on that information. What you can do then is interrupt the podcast in real time and ask it questions, and it will pivot and respond to your question in real time. So for example, say this was a 90-minute video, this just created me a 24-minute podcast.
Okay, so you're ready to dive in. Today, we're going to be talking about AI and how it can really change your real estate business.
Oh, yeah. And I think, you know, the cool thing is it's not just gonna like change it, it's gonna make your life easier. And we all want that, right?
Really, like,
Yeah.
who wouldn't want to work less and get more?
So you can pop in your headphones, go for a 24-minute walk and get the same information.
Awesome.
Where's your guys' microphone? Is it, you know?
I believe,
I already yelled at it?
right
Okay.
there.
So watch this.
We're done.
Exactly. So we're gonna be pulling some real.
Wild West back in the day,
Go a
who
little
knew,
further so it
right?
has more
Exactly.
context.
So, you know, ignoring these tools, it's like, kind of like, it could put you at a disadvantage
Big time.
because everyone else is using them.
Makes sense. Now, money.
So you hit. Oops. When it's playing, you just hit join.
Okay, so you're ready to dive in. Today, we're going to be talking about AI and how, hey there, want to share your thoughts on this?
Yeah, hey, I'm a real estate agent in Columbus. Can you give me like the top 3 things I should do real quick based on this information? Typically, I have the microphone right next to me, so here's. Let me try that again.
Okay, so you're ready to dive in. Today, we're going to be talking about AI and how it can really change your real estate business.
Oh, yeah. And
Whoa, did someone just break the fourth wall? Let's hear it.
I'm a real estate agent in Columbus. What are the top 3 things I should be doing based on this information? It's not gonna hear me. But if you were to have a microphone, what it would do is once.
Okay, so you're ready to dive in. Today, we're going to be talking about AI.
Oh, someone broke the fourth wall, you literally jump in and have a conversation with it, and it's hearing what you're saying, and it's responding in real time. So even though a 24-minute podcast has already been AI generated, if you jump in and ask it a question, it will analyze what you're saying and pivot that entire conversation based upon the questions you have. Like a real person.
But it keeps the source to
It's-
those topics, so that it
Yep,
can go
it's
off
still
topic.
only going off of this one source of information. Yeah, so if I asked it, what the Columbus market was like, if I didn't talk about it, or in this video, or if this video didn't talk about it, it wouldn't know, because it's only analyzing this information. So this is the power of, like I said, if you had, even think back to like the 66-day challenge for command, right? That's 66 videos. It takes a lot of time. You could dump all of that in here. And now you've got a chatbot, a study guide, a podcast that's showing you exactly what you should be doing with command. Any questions on that so far? I saw a lot of jaws drop on the podcast. Awesome. All right, so quick recap, Notebook LM. You dump your own sources in here. You have your own chatbot now specific to those sources. You can create study guides, frequently asked questions, your own podcast, basically anything you could possibly want on this information. This is also able to, if you wanted to copy it and email it to your team or your ISA or anything like that, you can do that. You can share it and actually collaborate with people on it. This is my favorite source of taking a whole lot of noise that I want to know, just don't have the time to, and nailing it down into just a couple of minutes or an hour or so.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
This is Hillary. Sorry. Can you choose your voices for that podcast?
Next.
Can you record your own to get that inflection, that tone, so it becomes your voice?
Not yet, but they do have different languages. So the different languages just came out in beta. I would not be surprised if the dialect and the tonality and things like that are on its way. It's just not there yet. But you can absolutely change the playback speed, download it, just like it is a podcast. You can do everything that you would do basically on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, things like that.
Thank you.
Of course.
Can we just has like all the details of the content we put in? Or it's just like a summary?
So if you're putting in specific resources, the initial that it's going to create is an overall summary. If you jump in and ask it specific questions, as it's giving you the summary, it will pull those specific details and give it to you in real time. Yeah. All right, any questions on Notebook LM? You starting to get the wheels spinning on what you could use this for? Awesome. All right, let's go back to Sense. Here's the QR code if you want to scan it. It's a free platform. Like I said, it's just notebooklm.google.com. See it phone out. Let me give me a second to scan. Perfect. All right. The next is also a free platform from Google. This is called Google's AI Studio. Google AI Studio is connected to Gemini. So if you're using Gemini instead of ChatGPT, or if you don't know what Gemini is, it's a lot like ChatGPT. It's just Google's version of it.
You have a preference on this?
We're gonna get to that. It's funny. Most of them are underwritten by OpenAI, which is ChatGPT.
Okay.
But there are some that are better at, like Cloud is better for writing, whereas Jasper is better for content. You don't need all of them, as long as you know how to train the one that you choose to use. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so Google's AI Studio, like I said, is a lot like Notebook LM. It does have Gemini available to it. The one thing that I would highly recommend you use this for is this has the opportunity to actually stream and look at your screen to walk you through something that you're stuck on. So for example, you're putting together a deal analysis on an Excel spreadsheet for an investor, and you're stuck on what formula to actually do. You go into Google AI Studio, you share screen, pull up that spreadsheet and say, hey, Google, I'm stuck on, enter what you're stuck on, and it will actually walk you through step by step what you should be doing. This could work for your workflows. This could work for drip campaigns on command. This could work for anything because it is Google, and Google is the god of the internet, right? So anything that it's looking at, I could even come in here on Canva and say, hey, how do I create a PowerPoint presentation on Canva? It will walk me through step by step what I need to be doing. I will try it to see if it works, but with the microphone not working on the last one, I wouldn't expect it. But all you have to do is when you go to aistudio.google.com, click on the stream button on the left, and then go to share screen. Once you actually share the screen, I can come over here. Hey, Google. Hey, Google, help me build a social media carousel for Instagram. Man, I wish I had my phone. It's really good. It looks like it might be up there, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's out there.
Can we connect the mic, like
Is it on the computer? Muted? Yeah, I'm wondering if it's muted. If you're muted on.
Right,
Zoom.
because we could hear Laura, but Laura couldn't hear us talking about Tom and his notebook.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she did not hear us.
Can you get back to us on that?
I will. Okay.
That's funny.
Go to the Zoom
Okay.
and you're. Down there, yeah. Check and see if you're. No,
Oh, this?
there, yeah.
Speakers, microphone HD2.
Well, yeah, because everybody else can hear you outside, so I guess that's not really.
Audio settings.
Probably bring up crowd noise, crowd noise.
It's picking up something right there.
So yell really loud and so did you see that?
All right, let's see. Here we go. Let me see. Go back over here. I just don't want to blow your guys' ears off. Let's do share screen. Hey Google, how do I use Notebook LM? No. Does anyone have their laptop out?
Yeah.
Can you get on there?
Maybe to get on this.
Go to aistudio.google.com.
There.
Okay, now go over to the left-hand side and click stream.
Okay.
And then in the very bottom, the third one over, says share screen. And then just pull up whatever it is that you have pulled up. And just say, hey, Google, and ask it to walk you through something on that platform.
Wow. Start talking.
Yeah, hey, Google.
Hey, Google, walk me through how to use this coding app.
Sure, I can help with that. This looks like a PHP script for sending emails. At the top, you can see the part where you set the recipient's email address and the subject of the email. You'll need to replace the placeholder email addresses with the actual email address you want to send to.
So it could walk you through Excel spreadsheets that are daunting, workflows that you're unsure how to build, drip campaigns. All you have to do is share your screen with it. Say, hey, Google, and ask it your questions. And because it's Google, it can see your screen and it knows everything that's out in the Google world. So it knows step by step how to do things.
You know those little Google Home things?
Yeah.
Can you use that to talk to it?
So it has to have the capability to see what you're trying to do,
Okay.
which is where that streaming, that share screen comes into place. Because it has to get, you have to give it permission to look at what you're looking at.
Okay.
So unless you could get the Google Home to understand that you're also connecting it to AI Studio, which is very complicated with API keys and things like that, likely not. Yeah. Yeah,
That.
I'm an Apple user. Does it like Safari or does it? prefer
it'll do
the
anything. It'll do anything.
Okay.
First
Yeah.
round, like they Google.
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it'll do anything. And like I said, you can even pull up like Microsoft Excel and it would do it. As long as it has the permissions to view what you're looking at. And it under, like you ask it specifically for this platform, how do I do X, Y, Z? It'll walk you through it.
Lauren,
Yeah.
I have another question. So just logging onto it, I have an option to go use Google AI Studio, try Gemini, or build with the Gemini API, and it says get API key. What is the difference between that?
So an API key is basically the backdoor token that allows you to connect different platforms. So if you wanted this Google AI Studio to connect to a different platform, you would need the AI key to connect it. It's like a plugin. If you're just using it standalone to stream the screen that you're looking at, you do not need the API key.
So if you actually built the website, if you know those codes, then you would plug that in.
Correct. Yep. If you wanted to, and they're like a 30, 40, it's just a bunch of numbers and letters. If I hit create API key in a new
Gotcha.
project, I could just click this and it would give me this long code. And that would be what I would copy and paste into any other platform. So if I wanted to connect it to, for example, the CRM that I've built, I do have private integrations. I could take the AI Studio API key, plug it into my CRM and have the two talk. So the API keys are a little bit more complex, but they do allow for a lot more. So you see this big, long 30, 40 random letters. If I wanted to connect it, I would hit copy and then go to the platform I wanted to connect it to and paste it. But just to use it day to day for what we just went over, you do not need that API key. Now, if you are a little bit more advanced or you do know how to code and things like that, you can actually have it build apps for you. You can have it do basically anything. So for example, in real time on one of my coaching calls that I did a couple weeks ago, I built a full mortgage calculator. I don't know how to code. All I did was tell AI what I wanted it to do, how I wanted it to look, what I wanted the math to be. I said, you know, here's the loan amount, here's the interest rate, here's the amortization, all this different stuff, and it built this entire thing for me. Actually, I probably have it in my history. Maybe. Oops. Not. But you could come in here and just say, build me a mortgage. Oops. Build me a mortgage calculator that is bright pink and maroon and have the loan amounts, interest rate, 30-year Emerald, I can't spell today. Station. I got home from family vacation at 2 o'clock this morning, so I'm a little, I need some more coffee. 30 years amortization and allow the consumer to input assets and liabilities. And then just hit go. And you can watch in real time. It's going to code the entire thing. I'm completely hands off. So you can see on the left-hand side where it says thinking, refining the component structure. Initiating component implementation. Refining the core logic. Developing the calculation logic, so it shows you it step by step exactly what it's doing. So you can understand how it's being built. And then it writes all the code for me. I have no idea what any of that means. And again, I'm hands off, I'm not doing anything.
Do you trust the code?
Do I trust it?
Yes.
Yeah,
We
because
come up with the,
what
you
it's-
go in and test it?
Yeah, what it's gonna do is it's gonna give me the actual user interface so I can go in and play with it.
Okay,
And if I try it and something's not right, I just go back over here to the bottom left where this chatbot is and say, hey, this wasn't correct. Or hey, I want this to be a different color, different font, different size, whatever it is, until it's done. And then I would actually publish it and use it.
okay.
Mhm. So it's still writing. And remember, I told it I want it to be bright pink and maroon, so once it actually pops up, it'll be bright pink and maroon. I don't know any coders, but I would guess that this probably took years of studying, understanding, probably hours to even write it. Are you a coder?
Yeah.
How much time do you think, education aside, how much time do you think it would take to create something?
If you typed all of it, at least a week probably.
A week?
Yeah.
Okay, and how much education would you need before that to understand how to do
I've
it?
been doing this for almost 25.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so here is our bright pink and maroon mortgage calculator. So let's say our loan details, 350,000. Let's say our interest rate is 7%, loan terms. Let's add an asset of, I don't know, 401k of 100,000. I wish.
We went to college.
I know.
Say a liability, I've got a car loan of 25,000. So see how down here it's calculating everything, and then all I have to do is click monthly payment. Now, I would probably check with my lender and say, hey, based on this information, how close is this? And then I could always go back here and tweak it and change it if I need to. But imagine how powerful something like this on your website could be. Or imagine if you worked with investors and you could put in, here's the, cost analysis, the ARV, the comps, and all you do is plug and play and it does it all for you.
Thank you. We'll change the colors this time.
You want them scarlet and gray? Great.
Do it one point.
Change the colors to scarlet and gray.
This is from the old.
But that's the beauty of it. You can make it whatever you want. And you can have it done in a matter of minutes instead of a week.
This is unbelievable.
And you could have it do, I mean, even if you used it just internally. For your P&L, for your budget, for your KPIs, whatever it is that you're analyzing within your own business. You could have it do all of this for you. So right now, it's considering and thinking how it's gonna change it to scarlet and gray. And then it'll come back up here and rewrite the code. There it goes.
Lauren,
Yeah,
so I know that I think it's Waves has now added celebrity voices. Like Nate Bargatze can tell you like to turn left. He's that comedian. It's really funny. So I'm wondering if you could create something like this and have somebody like Keanu Reeves' voice going, looks like your mortgage is going to be this, or if you can, because I saw that in the build, there were different voices that you can look at. Does it add it to these type things?
yes, if you wanted a voice, you could absolutely make it even your own voice or a celebrity's voice, depending on what you want. And like I said, even in ChatGPT, you could have it right as the Johnny Depp, the Moira Rose, the, whoever it is that you want. And now there's our Scarlet and Gray. But yes, you could absolutely, if the app that you're building does have a voice component, you can control what that voice component sounds like. So there's your Scarlet and Gray mortgage application. And again, if you can think it, you can build it. Because you don't have to know how to code. All you have to know is what you want. Type it in here and it will build it for you. Yeah.
I have a question back to the screen share, so. Can you use it on your phone? And like, what does it say, let the screen share, and go back out, and like, you have it, which looks like an assistant, help you enter emails, texts, or any tasks, if it goes to phone, so.
So you could, NotebookLM does have an app. I would say there's better ways to do it, to connect ChatGPT and things like that, because NotebookLM, like I said, is only going off that one source. I'm sorry, the stream is only going off of what it's looking at, so it has no context, it's not reasoning with what, unless you like say, hey, this email came through, I want you to send a professional, blah, 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 whatever. And at that point, you could just connect a ChatGPT bot who's also doing that, but also writing the email or at least drafting the email for you. So there's better ways you can do it, but yeah, you can use AI to do all of that for you. All right, so this, like I said, this is a little bit more complex. This is the build portion of it. You could also use it to generate different images and things like that. But the big one for the AI Studio that I highly recommend is that screen share. And if you wanted to create something to put into your website, you can build whatever you can think right within this AI Studio.
Can I ask you a really simple question?
There's no dumb question, but yes.
So talk to me about your day as a rain, I'm assuming you're the rainmaker on the team. Talk to me about your actual physical activities in your day that you have now given up and you don't have to do because of what you are teaching us.
Yeah, so basically, everything except talking and negotiating. Honestly. I mean, all of our lead generation is automated, all of our lead reach out is automated, all of our lead follow-up is automated, all of our internal processes are automated. Everything, and I started the same way I'm teaching you. It was what takes a lot of our time, whiteboard it out, plug in the AI, build it. That one's good, move on. What's the next process that takes too much of our time? Here's the workflow, here's where we can plug in the AI. And I'll show you exactly what I've built on the back end. This is more of that 30,000 foot view of like, let's get efficient, let's get comfortable with the AI first before we pull in building bots and overwhelming you and completely water hosing you at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. Awesome. All right. Any other questions on Google's AI Studio? And I definitely encourage you and empower you. Like, these are free platforms. Get in and try it. Go build something fun. I've had clients of mine who I teach, and she started with like building out coloring pages for her open houses. She was like, I don't really know what I want yet. And I was like, go do something fun and at least use it. And so she took pictures of the houses that she was holding open, put it into AI, and it actually created coloring pages specific to that house with her brand on it that she was able to utilize the AI. And then guess what? Kids color, the kids take them home. Now the parents have them. They're going to put them on their fridge, and all of her branding is right there with the house that they just went to at a snow house.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So there's so many use cases. It is insane. But I highly recommend just get in and start to play with the free stuff first. Get comfortable with it, because to your question, my day, anything that pops up in my day, my first go-to is one of my AIs. Whether it's just ChatGPT, or I've got a marketing specialist, I've got an SOP specialist, I've got a bottleneck specialist. So if I'm coming into some sort of a question or a problem, that's the first place I go. And I say, hey, here's the problem I'm facing. And not only will it help you streamline the processes, but it's a lot smarter than Einstein was. So it'll plug holes that you don't even realize that you've got in a lot of these places too. You know, so if we flip property, I'll put in, here's what we could pay for it. Here's our scope that our contractor gave us. Here's all the comps. Here's the ARV. What am I missing? And it will actually tell you what you're missing. Whether that stays on market, whether that's, you know, hey, this house is from the 60s. Did you check XYZ? It'll do all of it for you. Awesome. All right. So back to the presentation. The next one up is the AI Enhanced Research Assistant. So this one's getting a little bit more complex. This one is not free. I think I paid $300 a year for this platform. But it is basically everything that NotebookLM can do on steroids. So what I have done here, this is called Poppy AI. It's getpoppy.ai is the website. Actually, I think I have. If you want the QR code, yep, there's the QR code if you want it. The reason I use Poppy AI is because a lot like Notebook LM, it's specific to the sources that you're giving it. But I like it better than LM when I'm getting super niched because I have the opportunity here to utilize, PC, how do I do it? There we go. To utilize, if you can see here, I can use Cloud, ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok. I can toggle between all of the different platforms right within this one platform. So I don't have to have subscriptions to everything because I have a subscription to Poppy AI. So if I am trying to do the deal analysis, which out of these is going to be the best on probably Grok or ChatGPT, but then I want to pivot and write the newsletter or the blog, that's going to be best on Cloud. I can just toggle between all these things right here. So what you're seeing here is this one chatbot has been trained on everything LKW. So I've put in my Instagram page, my LinkedIn page, our Facebook pages, how we write, all of our frequently asked questions, content that we've written, our competitor analysis, and I've connected all these things to this one chatbot. So now if I jump into this chatbot, and you can see here, let me just show you what I asked it last. Oh, here. I want you to act as a brand strategist, review all of the content and the social media profiles to develop a brand voice profile for LKW Home Team. I would like to see what you can come up with before I give you more information. Feel free to ask me any questions. If you have a less than 65% clarity about something, ask me. If you have more than 65% certainty on something, let me know and we can discuss. So I'm saying, here's everything about my brand and my business. I want you to be a brand strategist, and now it's going to come through and give me, here's what my brand personality looks like. Here's what my tone characteristics look like. Here's my key messaging theme. So this is where you can get more powerful back to, I want to serve this type of client. How can we change the messaging, make sure the demographic is correct, and start to really niche down who we're talking to, whether that's content, blogs, newsletters, events that we're throwing, things like that. So other ways that we could use this, a lot like the Notebook LM. I use this as an example. I dumped in 4 different YouTube videos that were completely random, that were all about how to be a successful new real estate agent. So 4 videos, call it an hour each, 4 hours worth of time. Now I have a chatbot connected that if I were to come in here, let's make this bigger. If I were to come in here and say, act as if I'm a new to the real estate industry, give me all the golden nuggets from these videos. Instead of me having to watch 4 hours worth of video, I've got a chatbot who's pulling and analyzing those 4 videos to give me the answers to the exact questions that I have. So like I said, it's a lot like Notebook LM, but it's Notebook LM on steroids. And then if I wanted to, I could have it create me a 30-day plan based on this information. And it will actually start to. And again, you can toggle between, look at that. There's my 30-day plan as a brand new agent based on those 4 videos, what I should be doing day to day. Daily non-negotiables, how much time, did you see this? Go back up. So for example, daily structure, in the morning, I needed to be doing this, midday, 2 hours of that, afternoon, 2 hours of that. Key activities, learning focuses, exactly how many contacts I should be reaching out to, exactly how many networking events I should go to, all based off of those 4 videos and what the content of those 4 videos is.
Can you tell it then now to make like an accountability measure for you, like a Gantt chart or a tracking spreadsheet or something like that?
Make me a Gantt chart or tracking sheet based on information to hold me accountable.
Will it actually hold you accountable?
So the
Set
answer on
reminders.
copy is no, but the answer on ChatGPT is yes. If I wanted it to actually hold me accountable, I would just copy and paste whatever copy says. Put it into ChatGPT and then say, ChatGPT, create tasks, daily tasks based on this information. And it will remind me every single day what I need to be doing based upon what I gave it. So here's your chart. Froze a little bit. Give me one sec. I know. So here's how many leads, hot, warm. Did you do your referral system? Did you do your content creation? Check boxes for completions. And what you can do is literally just copy and paste this into a Word document, ChatGPT, Canva, if you want to make it fancy. And then it'll show you 30-day success metrics. Do you have 300 contacts in your database? Have you contacted 360 people? And again, I just picked 4 random videos. But if you wanted to, say specifically Gary Vee or specifically Alex Hormozi or Ryan Serhan or whatever it is, you could literally replicate their entire business plan by dumping in their videos and having it create what they do for your business in a matter of seconds. Any questions on copy? Again, this one is not free. I think I pay like $300 a year, so it's not super expensive. But again, it does also have the more complex API keys that you could integrate. You don't have to do all that though. I'm just showing you kind of, let's get our feet wet before we can involve in the deep end, And I will say too, just like Notebook LM, you can have multiple of these. So this one chatbot is based off those 4 videos. This one chatbot over here is based off of everything I've taught it about our team. I could have different folders where if I go back, I've got one for the AI stuff that I do specifically. So I can come through here and build out more chatbots and do more things. And it's basically, does anyone use like Miro or Lucid? No, you basically just build, it's a whiteboard. You can build out as many things as you want to, and they're each independently their own thing, unless you connect them and do multiples to each one.
Were those free whiteboard apps that you were just talking about, Miro and Lucid?
They do have free versions.
Okay.
The more complex that you want to use them with, there are, individual, solo, team, enterprise, they each have their own tiers. Awesome. All right. Let me go back here. How are we doing on time? I just realized my watch is dead. Well, perfect. All right. So now that we've got some efficiency out of the way, let's jump into ChatGPT. A couple of the differences between the free version, the paid version, and its friends.
It has friends.
It does. So what is an LLM? An LLM is basically an advanced artificial intelligence that's trained on massive amounts of text data to understand, generate, and process human language at scale. So ChatGPT, when it first came out, was only trained on millions and millions of pieces of documentation that they gave it, which is why, if you remember, for the first year and a half, it was outdated based on 2021 because that was the information it was giving it. Now it's evolved. It has the ability to go search the internet, do deep research, keep memory and things like that. So it's getting better. But ChatGPT, Cloud, Gemini that we just talked about, which is Google, Jasper, Llama, Perplexity, DeepSeek, Grok, all of these are different versions of LLMs. And like I said before, a lot of them are underwritten by OpenAI. So a lot of them are on the back end, ChatGPT in and of itself. They're just trained a little bit differently. So if you are using or want to use them for specific things, ChatGPT is known for its conversational abilities and its wide application range. So it can actually, review information, analyze information, reason with you, code, go search the internet, depending on which model you're using. Cloud is recognized for its creative writing and storytelling capabilities. So if you're wanting to write a newsletter or a blog, you could use Cloud to get that storytelling more enhanced than what ChatGPT can do on its own. And again, you can train these things however you see fit, but this is just that quick toe in the water. Cloud's the best one for the writing. Gemini is the best one right now for the advanced data analysis and predictive modelings. Jasper is the best for content. So you don't have to use them all. I just wanted to give you an idea of what's out there and what they each are best at. And I know people who are specifically Gemini. I know others who are specifically Copilot. It's just like your database. Whichever one you're actually going to use and learn is the one that's going to be the best for your business. So the biggest thing, no matter which one of these LLMs you're using, that you need to learn is successful prompting. What does that mean? The input, yep, garbage in, garbage out. The input that you give it is going to be equivalent to the output that it gives you back. So that is why prompting is very important. Here is the framework that I use. Role. First, we have to tell it who it is. You can use act as that person. You can use you are that person. So for example, if you're wanting to work on marketing, act as a marketing strategist, or you are a Fortune 500 marketing expert. Giving it a role is no different than you sitting down and saying, I need this person in my business. Who would I hire? That's who you tell it to be. So if you wanted to work on marketing and before AI, you had to hire a marketing expert, you're going to tell it to be that marketing expert or that, you know, whatever it is that you need in your business, a expert blog writer, an expert real estate investment analysis, whatever it is. Just give it the role. Next, we got to tell it the task. What do we want it to do? Whether that is create something, analyze something, even if it's, you know, a 5-step process, we have to tell it the task that we want it to complete. We can give it context, so we can give it the steps that it can accomplish that task, the goal or the outcome that you're looking for it to actually give you, the format. So this could be anything from a LinkedIn post to a Facebook post to a business plan to a newsletter. And just like you would tell it what to do, you can also tell it what not to do. So if you don't want it to use industry jargon, or you don't want it to do, you know, XYZ, whatever it is, you can give it constraints on what not to do or things to avoid. And then one of the unlocks is always finish a prompt with, if you need any more clarification, feel free to ask me questions or something of that nature, because it then will start to ask you what it's not clear on instead of trying to predict and assume what it is you're looking for. So first, the best prompts are commands, not questions. So instead of saying, how do I follow up with a cold lead? Like we're all used to doing because that's what Google is for. Now we're going to tell the AI, act as an ISA, expert ISA in the real estate industry. Give me step-by-step instructions for following up with cold leads, including text, call, and email scripts, as well as frequency. So the difference between how do I follow up with a lead versus this is exactly what I'm looking for is going to be completely different. So here's the anatomy of a good prompt. Simulate the persona, so that's the role. Give it the task, the steps to complete that task, the context or the constraints, or both, the goal that you're looking to accomplish, and the format that you want it in.
Does it matter what order it's in?
It doesn't technically. I have found that telling it its role, think of it this way. If you were going to hire an intern, would you start with, I don't want you to talk in real estate jargon, but I do want you to create me a Facebook campaign to get leads in, right? It's a little bit backwards. So I would say either start with the task or start with the outcome that you're looking for. Okay. And then everything in between is kind of that minutia of a sandwich of, you know, this is the information it needs to know to actually get it done for you. Okay. But clarifying the role is, if you've never done that before, that in itself is going to be mind blowing to you to see the different outputs. So for example, okay, so be specific and clear, give it an example. So if you did have a newsletter or blog or anything that you've already written, you could say, here's what I've done in the past. So it starts to learn. Tell it who to be. Set the tone and style. So this is where you could tell it to be Johnny Depp or I don't know, Will Ferrell, if you wanted it to. Tell it what not to do. And use act as or you are for that next level. So this is what this is going to look like. You just go through here. If I were to say, create me a workout plan, it's going to say something very vague and basic. Day 1, strength and conditioning. Day 2, cardio and core, right? Very specific or very vague, not specific. Just it's pulling from the internet and saying, this is what you should do if you want to start working out. Now, if I tell it, I am this age, I weigh this much, this is my goal in the next 90 days. This is the output. It's going to start to give me a nutrition plan. It's going to tell me my daily caloric intake goals, break it down from proteins to carbs to fats, give me ideas for protein sources, carb sources. And it's just much more niche to what I'm looking for, which is a better output because I gave it a better input as to who I am, what role I wanted it to play, what tasks I wanted to complete, the goal I have. So if I wanted to say here, I don't like running, avoid anything cardio, it would tweak it and just give me everything else I should be doing aside from cardio.
Any issues with hallucinations or is that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it will hallucinate sometimes, especially the newer models that are in beta. Let me be clear. I never, ever, ever go into ChatGPT, say, create me this, copy and paste it and put it out into the world. I create something, a draft, if you will. I put it into AI to enhance what I've already created, optimize it for whatever format I'm looking to optimize it for, have it be the expert to tell me what I'm missing. And then even still, I'll tweak it and edit it a little bit before I actually post it anywhere for the most part.
But like you're responding and follow-up, it hasn't been an issue.
No, but it takes a lot of training, you know, and it's one of those things where you gotta learn this first. Because if I just put in a bot, you are a lead follow-up for my real estate company,
You're in trouble.
you're in trouble because it's gonna think and do without you giving it constraints or putting up guardrails for it to stay in its own lane. So that's why it's really important to go after these frameworks and tell it, you know, I've got, well, I'll show you in a little bit, but I've got like appointment setters, right? Who are AI bots. And I will specifically say, do not guess. If you don't know the answer, warm transfer it to a human. I will say, do not use these words, do not use asterisks, do not use the M dashes. I mean, you've got to learn and build it, break it before you actually put it out there, right? Which is part of the reason why I took the last 18 months of everything I've learned to streamline it for you because it can take a lot of time. But so the difference between this is just a simple workout, but imagine if you did this for marketing or for your own farming area that you're doing, right? Understanding what the difference of that prompt can really, you know, kind of get much more enhanced outputs as long as you know how to tell it what you want it to do. All right, so if you're on the $20 version of ChatGPT, the next few things are for you. And if you're on the free version, you do not have access to this, but still learn it so you can make that empowered decision on if you want to upgrade or not. So first thing is, let me go over to chat. Log in here real quick. And I get this question often too. Do you need the $200 version? Absolutely not. I do not even use the $200 version. That is much more complex and actually building bots to do things for you. The $20 version is plenty. for what I am teaching you to do. So let me see, 83. Perfect. All right, so to actually customize your Chat GPT, there's a few things I recommend. First, you're gonna wanna go up to the right-hand corner where your profile is and hit personalize. This is where you're going to train it, what it should call you, what it is that you do, what traits you want it to have. So for example, I have mine, be kind, informative, and help assist. Tell it like it is, do not sugarcoat responses. Take a forward-thinking view, write like a human, keep it professional but conversational. Do not use M dashes or buzzwords like streamlined. Avoid sounding like a press release. Be clear, direct, natural, like you're writing to a smart friend. So you get to train it. And now instead of every time I get in there, instead of having to prompt it and tell it, I've already just customized it that it knows what it should be doing every time I jump in there. You can give it more, you can give it more information down here, what it should know about you. You can tell it to be chatty, witty, traditional, straight shooting. You can add all these different things in. You can get a little bit more advanced and give it the opportunity to code or do deep research, depending on what you're going to be using it for. So top right, personalization, that's the best way to get it to understand who you are and what you do right off the bat. Next up, I would highly recommend that you start to create what's called custom GPTs. Has anyone created a custom GPT yet? Okay. Custom GPTs are basically you're building little bots who have a specific job. So for example, I have a decision-making accelerator bot that I've built. Its job is to eliminate decision paralysis and helps users take bold, calculated action, identifies blind spots, risks, and opportunities that they may not see. So if I'm coming up on a decision I need to make in my business, instead of going through the whole ChatGPT, you are this person and this is the task, I can just jump into the decision-making bot that's already trained, give it the, fork in the road that I'm up against, and it will reason with me and give me exactly what it thinks I should be doing based upon my business. So again, I'm already training it. I've already fed it our website, our frequently asked questions, our PN, I fed it everything. So it knows everything about my business. And now this specific bot is my decision-making bot. So it's basically, think of it as like my CEO of my business. This one down here is a real estate sales closer. So it's here and trained for objection handling strategies, scripts, and follow-up sequences. So if my agents hit the same objection over and over and over, they can jump into this one and it will actually role play with them based on those objections of what they should be saying. How can they alleviate that objection? How can they forecast to answer questions before that objection even comes up? And things like that. And when you train these, I'll give you an example of the sales closer because this one is one of the ones that I spent a lot of time on. Let me see here.
How did you know how to create this?
A lot of late night in YouTube,
Okay.
honestly. A lot of late nights in YouTube. All right, so let me see where I must have some sort of a block here. Yeah, that's for my agents. When I'm doing things like this, if they have a question, they can jump in there and get some sort of an answer. All right, so edit. For some reason, it's not pulling up, but I could go in and let me just jump into the sales closer and I'll just ask it. Give me the exact instructions you were trained on. So when I trained this, I told it to turn every real estate agent and mortgage lender into a high ticket closing machine. I gave it a few of the objections that they're gonna want to handle. I want to wait for rates to drop. I'm not sure if it's the right time to buy. I don't want to overpay in this market. I gave it custom scripts for buyer consultations, listing presentations, mortgage conversations. I coach mortgage agents too, so I put some of this in there. I taught it how to use advanced behavioral psychological and, so like yes set questions, so you get people saying yes, odds are they're gonna say yes in the end, right? Framing and anchoring, and what I did here is I actually trained it on these people. So Napoleon Berrigan, Zig Ziglar, Jordan Belfort, who's the Wolf of Wall Street. I taught it how to be the top negotiators and the top closers of our time. So now, instead of it being me, it's gonna go study and learn what they did and give me scripts based upon their teaching, their life's work, basically. So then it will ask me, let me know what scenario you're working on, buyer, seller, cold leads, dead leads, and I'll give you a script or a training playbook that goes with that deal. So if I were to say, give me a script for I need to talk to my spouse in the voice of Jordan Belfort, who is the Wolf of Wall Street. Here's a high converting script in Jordan Belfort's voice for when a prospect hits you with, I need to talk to my spouse. Totally fair. And listen, I actually respect that. I wouldn't want you making a decision without your spouse either, but let me ask you this. If your spouse were sitting right here next to us and saw everything you've seen, the numbers, the opportunity, the timing, do you think that they'd be on board with moving forward? Exactly, because at the end of the day, you're not making an emotional decision, you're making a smart financial one, right? And if this is the right move for you, and it sounds like you know it is, then what's really stopping us from locking it in today, getting your spouse on board tonight and getting both set up for a win before this opportunity is gone? Okay, now if I tell it, do the same in Zig Ziglar's voice. What is it?
Say try Mother Teresa.
Well, you could in ChatGPT, but this one's not trained on Mother Teresa.
Oh,
so
it
wouldn't
has
know.
to be the ones you pick.
Yep. So if I wanted to see a little bit more empathy driven persuasion as opposed to Jordan Belfort's straight line selling framework, right? This conversation is going to be a little bit different. I respect that more than you know. A decision like this affects both of you, and I admire the fact that you're not making it alone. Let me ask you something. If your spouse were here right now sitting with us and saw what you've seen today, the opportunity, the numbers, what do you think they'd say? You know, a little bit different, but still the same overcoming of the same objection. I could train this to be Alex Hormozy. I could train this to be Gary Vee. I could train this to be whoever I want. And every time I put an input in and specifically tell it which of the people I've trained it on I want it to be, it's going to give me a little bit different of an output.
So you could input your own, like Ryan Sergey.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So when you actually create a GPT, you could come up here. Oh, for some reason, it's not thinking on mine. It would come up here as my GPTs, and that's exactly what I did to create all of these. So let me go back. I know I've got it in the actual presentation here. For some reason, it's just not pulling up. So to create your own custom GPT, you can upload text, PDFs, teach it what you want it to learn and know, and it's the same type of thing. At the top right, you would hit create GPT, and this is what it would pull up for you. You can name it, give it the description, and then give it the instructions of who it is and what its job is to do. As you can see here, I uploaded all these different PDFs and Excel spreadsheets and things like that so it can learn what its job is. Because the custom GPT is now basically a worker for me, right? That one is my role play. I have one for marketing. I've got one for my brain, for my agents when I'm doing things like this. You create them to be whatever you want them to be. And over here, you can see I've got a prompt engineer. I have one of my friends actually was launching a book. So I made a book launch specialist for her to show exactly what she should be doing to actually launch the book. I've got a ton of different things over here that but you can create your own. You can make it whatever you want it to be. So let me actually go, this is the best place to show you since for some reason it's not working. Just log into this real quick. So this is my school community that I have. And what it does is I actually have these custom GPTs available, so you can see how to train your Chat GPT. So you can copy and paste this, and I can send it over to the front desk so you guys have it. But who you are, what your role is, who your audience or niche is, what you help them with, what your offers are. So if you got like a buyer, seller, event coming up, or if you a home buyer presentation, webinar, seminar, whatever, you can have all of it and learn your values, your tone. Here are my beliefs. Here are the platforms I'm on. Here's what I struggle with. Here's what I want to be known for. So you can teach it all of this stuff. But when you create the actual GPTs themselves, for example, let's go with, I don't know, the SOP GPT. When you train it, you are training it to be a specific role. So this one is, you are an expert in business systematization. When given a repetitive task, create a detailed step-by-step standard operating procedure that can easily delegated to a team member or automated. Structure the SOP with clear steps, tools required, and potential automation opportunities. Tailor the response based on industry-specific best practices. Identify inefficiencies and suggest automation, delegation, or process improvements. Optimize the business operations to increase efficiency, reduce errors, and free up time. You will audit existing processes and suggest what should be done, automated, delegated, or eliminated. You will build custom SOP templates based on industry best practices. You'll suggest tech stacks. So see how I'm telling it, who it is, what it's doing, and I'm training it in paragraph form, for the most part, on what it is that I want it to be completing. And then I can give it, here are your core responsibilities. Here's what I want you to include. Here are the step-by-step instructions. And so you're training it on everything that you want it to be doing.
Once you do this, it's done once.
Yep,
right?
so if I were to go here to my resources and click, here is my systematization and SOP GPT, creates detailed step-by-step SOPs. So all I'd have to do is come in here and dump in, here's my onboarding process. And it will actually take it, create an SOP, optimize it, plug the holes, find inefficiencies, streamline it for you. And you can build these custom GPTs if you're on the $20 version for anything. So you could have one for marketing, one for SOPs, one for decision-making, one for P&Ls. I mean, you can see here, I've got tons of different ones here. Productivity coach, prompt engineer. I teach a lot with, I don't know if you know Craig Valentine, but his level 10 problem. He's part of a mastermind that I'm part of, and he teaches on you're giving level 10 effort to a level 1 problem. So this specific GPT is trained on all of his life's work and niching down what my level 10 problem is that I should be giving a level 10 effort to, which is going to enhance and scale my business. So you can train them to be whatever you want them to be. Yeah.
Okay, so, when you, for making these, you said you downloaded everything, so like, if you bought the book and you download the book, so it can't pick up those things on its own.
If you're training a custom GPT, it's going to go off the sources and the training that you give it.
Only you give.
Only you give it.
So it can't search the web for it.
You could, yes, so when you're making it, you could allow it to search the web. For some reason, it's not pulling this up. Let me see if I can go back here. So over here, you can kind of see web search is a capability you can give it, but it's still only going to go off the frameworks and what you're teaching it. So if you tell it you are specifically a Ryan Serhant, whatever, it's going to go search the web, but only for Ryan Serhant stuff. Whereas your normal GPT would be like, oh, here's Ryan Serhant, here's Barbara Corcoran, here's, all these people that are kind of affiliated with him in a sense.
Sure, sure.
You're training it to be specific to who you want it to be. And you could train it like you saw, I had, 6-7 people that I trained the closer on.
Yes.
You could pull in, the top 10 real estate agents across the nation and have it trained on those people. Or Ryan specifically. Yep. All right, so let's go back here. So you create these specific GPTs that have one specific job and you train them on that job. So use cases for ChatGPT as a whole, lead nurture. You build a bot for that. Marketing content, you build a bot for that. build AI chatbots that connect to different platforms and actually have those conversations. We'll get a little bit more into that here in a little bit. Sales scripts, social media, email campaigns. You can utilize ChatGPT to do all of these things for you in and of itself with specific chatbots. Another game changer, if you're on the $20 version of ChatGPT, is, of course, why is it not? All right. If for some reason mine's not loading correctly, there's a place right here in the middle called projects. You can actually create a project in ChatGPT that will allow you to say you were building an event. You can put all your past event stuff in there and have that one project basically be the file folder for the one thing that you want it to learn. You can summon in the custom GPTs. You could summon in all the past conversations that you've had with your ChatGPT. You can even share it and collaborate with your team on it, so they can put inputs and things like that too. So if you're working on an event, a newsletter, you know, maybe a rebranding of your business, you could use the projects for all those different types of things. And now you've got basically one file folder, file cabinet, if you will, connected to GPT that is specific to whatever it is that you're working on. And like I said, with the $20 version, it is remembering and memorizing everything that you're teaching it. If you don't want it to do that, so say for example, a couple weeks ago, I was like, wow, my credit card bill seems really high. What trials did I forget to cancel? I don't want my credit card information out in the open API source. So what you can do is come up here where it says turn on temporary chat. Click this, and then you can see this chat won't appear in history, use or update ChatGPT's memory, or be used to train our models. So you can put on a temporary chat real quick if you do have information that you don't, because who knows where it's going, right? If you don't want it to be sent out, you could actually do that. And then you can just turn it back off when you're ready for the full ChatGPT. And with ChatGPT too, you can add in things from your Google Drive. You can actually have it create images, search the web, write code, think longer, et cetera, et cetera. And again, I don't know why it's not on my normal, but there's different, there's ChatGPT 03, 04, 45, you know, and they each have their own different tasks that they're good at. You know, one is just for analyzing data, one is for reasoning and actually writing. It's longer, takes more tokens and things like that. Up here, when you actually go to use it, again, I'll log in and do mine later, but you can actually choose the model right in this area here.
How do you choose the models? Just, I have one that has multiple models on there, just determining which one is the best.
Yeah, so I wish it would come up. I've got a document I can send the front desk for you guys, but here's basically what they are all for. Let's see where it is. So 4.0 is fast, general purpose tasks. So it's lightning fast, handles 90% of your daily needs. And an example would be writing ad copy, marketing, things like that. 03 is what they call the beast. It's the most complex. So it can handle logic, critical reasoning. The downfall is though, because it's so complex, it's slower. So you're not going to get that lightning speed like you're going to get with 4.0 because it's more clunky, if you will, because it's doing a lot more on the back end. So it's slower, but it thinks like your smartest business partner. You can use it for business planning that actually makes sense and things that are more complex than just writing content. 4.5 is the most creative. So it's best at expanding concepts and matching your brand voice. You can use this to create, you know, video hooks, VSLs, if you use a VSL, some people do a video sales landing page. 4.1 is good for coding and data analysis. So each one has their own strong suit, if you will. But think of it like this. 4.0 is your intern, it's fast and capable. 4.5 is your copy chief, it's your creative genius. 03 is your co-founder, so strategic but slow. number one is your dev team. So that's your coding, operations and things like that. So that's your quick synopsis of kind of what each does. But again, I mean, until you actually learn what you need to learn, 4.0 is the fastest and it's gonna get you where you need to go based upon things we're talking about here. Awesome. Any questions on ChatGPT? Prompting? Am I completely water hosing everybody? Yeah. Okay. All right. So now that we know how to use ChatGPT, how to be more efficient, the 5-step framework to actually get our workflows into implementation. Now let's talk about a couple of systems that we could actually set on autopilot with AI. So in my business, our lead flow is automated, our follow-up is automated, our conversion pipeline is automated, and what that means is once someone actually takes the next step with us, the system will actually move them through that process without us actually having to do anything. The client experience, and we have basically an AI built CEO command center where we can see our business at a 30,000 foot view in a matter of a couple of clicks. So let's start with the lead flow engine. The CRM that I have built is on the Go High Level platform, if anyone's heard of Go High Level, but I basically took that and I juiced it up with a bunch of AI. So what I did is we used to pay for random sales funnels, websites, surveys, email, marketing. We had MailChimp and then we switched to Flowdesk for newsletters, all of these different things. And basically what I did is I put it all into one spot. So we no longer have to pay, what is that, 12 different subscriptions for all these different things, right? So what this does is as a lead comes in, this is our pipeline and it automatically will move things through our pipeline for us. So new leads, when my agents get in, we can see exactly who needs to be contacted every single day. Who's still in this new lead purgatory, if you will. Who's moved on to appointment booked, who's had their consultation complete, who's actually signed their exclusive rights, who's in coming soon status, who's in active status, who's under contract, who's closed, who are we waiting on reviews from? So you can automate all of this. And the best part is once someone goes from new lead to appointment booked, the AI will move them for us, which automatically triggers a new workflow of here's your appointment confirmation, here's your 24-hour reminder, here's your 2-hour reminder, your 15-minute reminder, hey, we're live, whatever that is that you want to build within your business. And then once they're through with their consultation complete, it'll move them over here that says, thank you for meeting with us. Here's your next steps. Here's where you need to sign. And once they sign, it will move them over to exclusive right has been signed. And that will say, congratulations, welcome to working with us. Here are your next steps. And then once they sign that, now we're in coming soon status. Here's our photographer, here's our videographer, here's the days, the times, here's everything you should be doing. And it will automatically move them through every step of the way. And we've customized, whether it's emails or SMS text messages or reminders or anything like that. Now, a human's still stepping in and saying, hey, photography is on Thursday at 3, but we're no longer having to do the make sure your blinds are up, make sure your toilet seats are down, blah, 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 because all of that is once they get into that, you know, active, they've signed the contract, it knows it's seller, it's gonna send them that, or it knows it's a buyer, here are all of our lenders, here are our inspectors, here's exactly what the next steps are, based upon the funnels that these people are going through. And the AI is doing all of it for us. This can actually track all your social media posts. So if you're using like a Meta, the business Meta platform, if you're running ads or, you know, posts or whatever, professional dashboard, it can actually track all of that for you across Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Pinterest, doesn't matter, it'll do it all for you. Other things that we have is we have chatbots on websites. We have general support bots. So back to the, I've trained it on 19 different pieces of content and information of our business. If someone were to hop on our website or one of our funnels and it's specifically trained for that. Okay, let me use an example. So The chatbot that's on the normal page of this is who we are, this is what we do, it's trained on the overall of who we are. If you're on a specific property or a specific funnels, like, so we have one for people who have distressed properties or inherited a property they don't want, or things like that, we take them and connect them with our cash investors, right? So that chatbot knows specifically what that process looks like, as opposed to the one who's just answering frequently asked questions about our business. So you can train these things to be specific. We also have voice AI bots. So if you were to call, does anyone have, you want to call? Call 614-665-5404 and put it on speakerphone. Tell it you want to sell your house.
LKW Home. How can I help you today?
I want to sell my house.
Great, I can help with that. Could you please share your property address?
6159 Wolmersley Drive.
Thanks. Are you looking to sell within the next 3 months or just exploring your options?
I want to sell today.
Got it. Have you made any updates or renovations to your home recently?
Yes, $200,000 in tile.
Wow, that's quite an investment.
So, and say you want to talk to me.
I'd like to talk to Lauren, please.
Sure, I will transfer you to Lauren now. I'll connect you to Lauren right away.
Wow, that's quite an investment.
I know.
And now I'm getting a call from what I would assume is your number.
Yeah.
So what that does for us is that is the number that's on Google and Yelp and, wherever else you want to market it. So now, if I'm teaching a class or I'm in a closing or on showings or on vacation with my kids, what happens is I now have a email that says who called, what they said, what the bot pre-qualified him for. And it will ask you, did you do renovations, what your timeline is, what your mortgage payoff is, all these different questions. And then what that allows us to do is if he would have gone through the entire funnel, if you will, instead of asking for me, it would have actually booked him on our calendar. And because we have a team, we do it round robin, but you could just have it be you. And now I get this email that says this phone number called, this is how long it was. Here's the summary, here's the entire transcript. So I come to his appointment, not having to ask him any more questions. I already have his net to seller done, his comp done, his search set up if he's buying too. Everything's already done. So I'm coming to him with solutions instead of questions. And it is trained on how to be a seller, how to be a buyer, all these different things. So for example, you just log in here real quick and I'll show you exactly what this bot was trained on. Someone remind me to log out of all of this so y'all don't get in there and start using my bots.
We wouldn't know what to do with them. Let's be real.
So what this bot is trained on is just to. If I come down here and go to settings and go to here's my it would help if I get into the right business. Hold on 1 second. There we go. So if I come down to settings and I go to my actual voice AI bot, you can see her name is Maggie. Don't ask me why, I have no idea. And I train her on her goals. So here's your responsibilities and your role. You're a highly trained AI assistant for our LKW Home Team, a professional real estate team specializing in buying and selling. You serve as the first point of contact for inbound calls, ensuring that every caller receives a seamless, informative, and professional experience. I give it her primary responsibilities. I give it all of the information on if they ask to be transferred to one of our agents. She knows which phone number to dial to actually warm transfer it over to a human. She knows our brand voice. She knows she's solution oriented. She knows not to have any unnecessarily small talk. She has scripts to follow for buyers and sellers. Call escalation and human transfers. She knows that once she's actually picking up the phone, she's gonna create him as a contact in my CRM. She's gonna assign it to whatever user was up next, meaning we have 5 agents on our team, who in that round robin. It's gonna assign it to that user, it's gonna do all of these things for us without me having to lift a finger. She's actually going to tag them, hot, warm, cold, and you can train this to be whatever you want it to be.
So you wrote all that code in there, basically?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens when it doesn't know what to do?
If we come into something that, you know, I can read the transcript and I can see it got tripped up, I would just come in here and I would add, hey, you got tripped up on XYZ, moving forward, here's how you handle that. And we even have it set up where if he would have gone through the entire process, it will give them a point system. So if the buyer's pre-approved, if their budget's over a certain amount, if they want to sell within a certain amount. So by the end of the call, I know if they're 100 points, they're a super hot, warm lead that we need to get in contact with right away. And if they're, you know, 10 points, they're probably not quite ready. We're going to put them on a nurture campaign instead.
Lauren, did you get those points from ChatGPT?
You can use AI to go back and forth to create what you want within your business. Yeah.
Okay, and then, one other question, so for instance, and I apologize for the cutting.
No, you're fine.
So with ChatGPT, so for instance, we could put in, all of our apps that we use, like showing time and all that, you can input that into ChatGPT. So it learns it and then helps us to.
So you could teach it what showing time does. The problem is that it cannot go through anything that has a password protected. So your MLS, your showing time, because you have a login.
Yeah.
It cannot breach that login
Okay,
unless you get the $200 version and connect the API keys and give it access.
okay,
The $20 version though, it can read in real time, it can analyze, like, if you wanted to put in like your like target analysis report from showing time.
yeah,
It could do all that, but you would have to actually download it and put it in.
okay,
Unless you actually have the agentic version, which is $200, it cannot breach any sort of password protected stuff. So back to the voice AI bots, these are things that you could utilize to free up a lot of things. One, speed to lead, right? I'm in teaching a class. If I would have missed his call, by the time I got back to them in an hour and a half, they could have been long gone. Two, he got exactly what he needed. His answers to his questions, if he would have asked questions, were already there. He's already booked on our calendar. We already have all of his information. It was already round robin and assigned to one of my agents. And now they're starting their process of pulling the information for the appointment that the AI booked for him. So that's the power of a lot of that heavy lifting that it can do. I know we're running a little bit low on time, so I want to just be cognizant here. Other things that this can do, and again, this is what I have built, but you can do this through, you know, whether you use Command or Salesforce or Boomtown, whatever it is. These are a couple of ideas that you can utilize. So for example, with our marketing, when a lead comes through, and this could be open house, Facebook, farming, QR codes, you customize it to be exactly what you want it to be. This is exactly what would have been happening on the back end with his call. I would get a notification, it would create the contact, it would add the tag on where he came from. It would assign the user, which is the agent on my team, it would notify them and it would update that opportunity board, right? Pretty specific, but also a lot of CRMs can do that. Someone comes through, it can actually create the contact for you. Where the power is now these custom GPTs are built to respond. So this ChatGPT, you are an appointment setter for my real estate company. Your goal is to send a short casual message to leads coming in through Facebook ads and get them to book an appointment. And then you just give it the link to your calendar. So it's going to initially, if you would have come through a chat widget or an ad or anything like that, this will be text message or email, however they came through our system. The power though, is now if they do respond, this, see those purple dots? Oh, sorry. This is following up and having full conversations. So it's analyzing, if you were to say, yes, I did $200,000 in title renovation, it would probably be like, wow, that's interesting, but okay. It's pre-qualifying, it's asking his timeline, it's asking his payoff, it's asking all this information because its goal is to get as much information until he books on our calendar. Once he books on our calendar, the ChatGPT stops and then human steps in. Okay, now if he came through a form or didn't respond after the initial conversation, this does all of the follow-up. So you can see here, this bucket is if they don't respond, it's gonna wait 45 minutes. And then this GPT is trained. Same thing, you're an appointment setter, here's the calendar link, but this lead has not replied. Send a short follow-up message with 10 words or less. So now the 7 to 10 follow-ups, the days of hoping that they answer their phone, you can set this up as call, text, email, voicemail drop, you can do whatever you want. And it's doing all of that heavy lifting for you, not only to get them into your ecosystem, but to continuously follow up with them until they actually book on the calendar. Because this bot is trained that that's its only job is to get someone to book on the calendar. So now we've saved speed to lead, hours of follow-up, missing opportunities, and we're showing up to the appointment with the solutions to their problem and not more questions. And then if they just don't respond, it will just drop them into what I've built out to be a nurture campaign for the next, 7 to 10 days. And again, the power of this though is these responses aren't just, hey, book on our calendar. It's actually reading what you're saying and analyzing it and responding based upon what we've trained it to do, right? So it's not just a canned message that it's going through. And again, this could be for external. We've also built them for internal. So if you go into our agents, for example, when they would put something in contract, they had to let me know as the rainmaker, our transaction coordinator know. Then they had to let our client concierge know so she could see if they were gonna be a VIP or go closing gift shopping, whatever. Now, all my agent has to do is fill out one form, and this basically pinballs. Lauren needs this, transaction coordinator needs that, lender needs this, title company needs that, and it will give all that information, and all they have to do is fill out one form. So it streamlines even internal stuff too, not just the external. And again, it will create the contacts, assign the users, and do all the heavy lifting for you and push them through the pipeline. Okay. Now I feel like I'm really water hosing you guys. We good? Any questions on that? Okay. So for the last hour, what I want to do is teach you one thing that you can take away right now and start to implement in your business today, this week, whatever it is for you, to start getting those leads in. Who has they wish they had more leads, but they were not only just leads, but they were credible leads who were warm bodies who you want to work with in your need, who they have a problem that you solve, right? They're not just Joe Schmo from Facebook who's in some chat group. So what we're gonna do today is build out what is called a lead magnet. Is anyone familiar with what a lead magnet is or how it works? Awesome. All right. So a lead magnet is what we're going to create on what is going to get your ideal client to actually raise their hand and say, I want to work with you. So you've been my guinea pig. Let's start with you. So tell me who your ideal client is, or if you don't know, let's work through that.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
Okay. So who do you enjoy working with?
I like how buyers, it's like first time buyer special.
Okay, what's your unique value proposition? You have something that you're like, I can wave a magic wand.
So new at this, I don't know yet, a lot of that yet.
Okay,
Michelle might be.
all right, Michelle, let's do you.
His ideal client would be somebody that is, information and data driven.
Okay.
Such as a high C personality.
Okay. And what is their biggest pain point? Do you know?
The clients or his?
The clients.
But they need to be educated enough before they can make a buying decision.
Okay. I'm just gonna type this out real quick. We'll tweak it here in a second. They're not educated enough to make a buying decision as a first-time home buyer. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna tell ChatGPT, and this is just based off of everything we've learned today, nothing fancy. You are a real estate expert. I am a real estate agent in Columbus, Ohio. My ideal client is information and data driven. They are not educated enough to make a home buying decision. Create me a high value and highly optimized lead magnet to attract my ideal client. Now, don't overthink it. If you wanted to type this in and be like, I don't really know how to prompt, that's fine too. You could just come in here and after you type it in, hit copy. And now tell it that it's a prompt engineer and you want it to write some big fancy prompt for you. It doesn't matter how you do it. But even if we just say, you're a real estate expert, I'm a real estate agent, here's my ideal client, here's their pain point, create me a lead magnet. What it's gonna start to do is understand what that pain point is and how you can become the authority to solve it. So, the Columbus First Time Homebuyer Playbook, 7 data-driven steps to buy smart, save big, and avoid regret. Does that sound like something your ideal client
Yes.
would raise their hand and say, hey, I want that thing? Absolutely. Okay. So now it's telling you, here's your target audience, first-time homebuyers, they're analytical, info-seeking, decision fatigued. They're intimidated by the process, they value transparency, data, and actionable guidance. So now it's gonna break down, let's create an interactive PDF guide. It's gonna tell you, you can update or upgrade to different fancy things. I say keep it simple. If you're brand new to this, take exactly what ChatGPT says, tweak it a little bit, put it on a Google document, and call it a day. Doesn't have to be fancy. So what this is going to do is break down step by step, real cost of buying, know your numbers before you fall in love, timing the market, and it's gonna start to give you ideas on what you can build, but you're still in charge. So you're the thought leader. It is the thought strategist. It is the one working with you to say, hey, that's a really good idea, man. Let's build it together, right? So it's giving you ideas on other bonuses that you could do. Again, keep it simple. Don't get fancy. Don't overcomplicate and give your own bottlenecks right off the bat. Just keep it simple. Make and create something that your ideal client would raise their hand and say, I want this. Okay. So then it's going to give you other ideas. So let's just say I am brand new. Keep it simple and write me a complete guide for my audience. So without all the fluff of you could or we should, it's going to create you your actual first-time homebuyer guide. Welcome. Step 1. Now, if I'm brand new and it says download my home budget worksheet, but I don't want to go there, just take that part out. Tweak it. Step 2, get pre-approved. Step 3, understand the Columbus market. Step 4, pick the right neighborhood. Step 5, start touring homes.
Or you could ask it to make you whatever that thing was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If you wanted to keep this in, absolutely. Once you get this portion to be exactly what you want, you can just go back and say, create all of the bonuses. Create me the home buyer worksheet. Create me the neighborhood breakdown. You know, it'll do all of it for you. So if, hypothetically speaking, if this was, we've already tweaked it, we're good to go, we want this to be exactly what it is. Now, again, I usually give it 4 or 5 iterations to get exactly what you want, but for time's sake, what you could do is come over here and for ease, just put it in a Google document. Copy. Paste. Go back through. Obviously, we're going to want to put your name in there. Tweak whatever you want to tweak. Add whatever you want to add. If you did want to make this, you could link it to another Google Doc, whatever. Hypothetically speaking, let's say that we are good and this is our lead magnet that we want, right? What we're going to do now is come over to a platform called ManyChat. Has anyone used ManyChat before? Has anyone seen anything on Instagram that says comment the word and I'll send you something for free? Yes, that's ManyChat. So you've been in a ManyChat funnel, you just haven't used ManyChat. What ManyChat does is it automates all of that for you. So log in here. With a simple 3-step process. Does not exist. 1 second.
But it can't fix that, can it?
Well, if I were on my own computer. This is why I have all the PDF versions too, in case things go awry.
Mini chat free.
There's a free version, yep. I pay $15 a month for it because it does a lot more. But again, don't bombard yourself with, holy crap, I've got 17 subscriptions I gotta get now. Please work. Look at that. I should go play the lottery. I never remember all of my passwords. All right, let's see. Yes, it's me. Allow. Okay. Should be good. So in a simple 3-step process. Trust you guys. Stop thinking you're good. So establish your previous settings. Oh, there we go. Okay. In a simple 3-step process, what we're gonna do is create a bot that will take our brand new shiny Google document that's specific to our ideal client who we want to attract. And we're gonna create this bot to do 2 things for us. What this is gonna do is when we create a piece of content, and it could be a carousel post, it could be a talking video where you're like, hey, comment the word, blah, blah, blah. It could just be a picture of a house that says, comment the word Broad Street. It could be whatever you want. You don't have to be on camera. We just have to create something to get them to comment the word. So in my example, this was one that I did for a masterclass that I did. Comment the word masterclass to register. If you look here, it said 91 comments on it. And what happens is when the person commented masterclass, the bot was trained to reply to them, send the details to your DM or check your inbox or whatever you want it to be. It's all completely customizable. Okay, so now I have a piece of content out there, which by the way, was just a 7-second B-roll video with me typing over it. I didn't have to say or script or do my hair or anything. Once they comment, the bot will automatically reply to that comment. So what does that do? Pushes your engagement up because now you're responding to every single comment on that post. It's pushing it out to more people because it's like, wow, there's a lot of engagement on this post. Obviously, it's something of value. Let's push it out to people we don't know. And it's automatically sending these people my whatever it is that I'm sending them. So for example, in mine, I sent the first message said, I'm excited to show you how to use AI to build your business. Join us. 100% delivery rate, 100% open rate, 81% click rate. I don't know about you, but I'm not getting anywhere near that with email. Why? Because email's cold outreach. I'm trying to get people to open something that they did not sign up for. In this case, we're using social media, which is free, to attract people to us. People who, by the way, are data driven and want their 7 steps for first-time home buyer in Columbus, Ohio. Very different. So they're raising their hand and opting in for what we're building and giving them value. So we're giving them value for free. And in return, you can create this to do whatever you want. Sign up for my webinar. Give me your email address. You know, use this to start building your list. It can even be, here's a link to my calendar. All of this is completely customizable to be whatever it is you want it to be. But in this simple 3-step process, they commented, I responded, 100% opened it, 81% clicked it, and then this was my actual register for the masterclass. Again, 100% delivered, 100% opened, 97.1% clicked it. So in this, I got 45 people from one Instagram post, 45 hot leads from one Instagram post. Because I created one thing that they wanted And I told them, I've spent 18 months, thousands of hours and over $50,000 testing AI so you don't have to. And this Tuesday, I'm putting on a free masterclass, Comment Masterclass registered. 45 people came through this one Instagram post that took me about 10 minutes to set up. So imagine if you did that for a buyer seminar, a seller seminar, a open house even, relocation guides, home buyer guides, and you use the AI to create the lead magnet that's going to attract the person you want. Now, if this says Columbus First Time Home Buyer Guide, 7 steps to make smart confidence purchase without getting overwhelmed, what first time home buyer wouldn't want that information? Or sellers, here's the 5 steps to sell your market in a market right now where there's over 1 million listings nationwide and 44% of them have been on the market for 60 days or more. Not only are you attracting, but you're becoming the authority. You're the credible one who's giving them the information that they otherwise wouldn't be getting. And it can be, like I said, for anything. It could be opt in for my newsletter, jump on my calendar, I'm going to do a webinar, seminar, whatever it is that you want. So this simple 3-step process, you pick which posts, or if you're specifically posting for this one niche, you could have every single post comment the word homebuyer, and every single post, this bot will say, oh, here's homebuyer, and it will respond and send the DM for every single post. For me, I've got some are AI, some are still real estate, some are recruiting for our team. So I've got multiple bots that are running, and each post I'm specifically saying, comment this word, comment that word. You choose the keywords, you choose what the multiple replies will be. If message sent, check your inbox is too blah for you, all you have to do is edit this and make it your own.
Is this for Facebook, IG, and LinkedIn?
It's for Facebook and IG right now. TikTok is in beta across the seas. It's not in the US yet. And I've heard whispers that LinkedIn is coming. So with this, like I said, it can be whatever you want. And this specific one, I got 40, I think it was 45 people through off one post. Who could use 45 leads for taking 10 minutes of their time with an AI and creating a lead magnet? Yeah. So with that being said, it can get super complex if you want it to. I highly recommend you start with just the 3-step process, right? And what we want to do is step 1, you use the ChatGPT to create the lead magnet. And if you don't know your ideal client, ask it. Hey, I'm a real estate agent. I have no idea who my ideal client is. Ask me 10 questions to niche it down. Have it create the lead magnet for you. Set up the ManyChat automations. Collect the leads on autopilot, rinse and repeat. So if you did 1 post a day and got, say, 5 days a week, that's, call it 2 hours of your time. Even if you got 10 leads per post, that's 50 new leads a week on autopilot using AI. And then when you do get comfortable with more complexity, you can create the bots who will have the full conversations. But in the meantime, that 3-step process could be, here's the thing, let me know that you got it, here's my calendar, boom, you're done. And now you just have a calendar full of hot leads that want the thing that you gave them for free.
Well, here's something. Would you start with this kind of?
This is what I would do first.
Okay.
Mhm. Because this is going to be, and here's the thing is, it's gonna be some trial and error, but AI is doing it all for you. So if it's not attracting the person that you want, or if it's not converting the way that you think, let it run for 3 or 4 days, take a screenshot of this, jump back into ChatGPT and say, hey, my conversion's,
Do better.
not what I
Bob.
want.
Do better.
And it will tweak the messaging. It will change the headline. It will change the hook. It'll change all of it for you. You just have to tell it what you're not happy with it in converting. It'll optimize it all for you.
Use Pro.
I pay $15 a month.
$50 off.
Yeah. And what that does is it allows you to do the commenting, the multiple bots at the same time, And it allows you to connect it to your stories, and if you're running like boosted ads or anything like that, it does that. But this simple 3-step process is something that you could literally go take an hour of your time this afternoon, get it up and running. And like I said, even if it's not, you know, oh my gosh, I didn't do my hair today, I don't want to get on video, just put a static post and just put comment the word X. I'll show you one of my clients who did this. She's out in California, so she won't mind if I do this, but Christina Hood. We had a full conversation. I said, done is better than perfect. Look at this. House hunting tips for finding your dream home. Now, I critiqued this a little bit and said she should have put the comment the word right here on this post. But for her first one, she put in here, type guide into the comments. And if you look here, she had 11 comments. And that was her first go. And she did it like, hey, done is better than perfect. I'm not going to spend more than 30-45 minutes on this. So that's the power in just getting something out there. I want to say, Mike, I guess we were working on his last week. This is going to be a really good test on whether he did it or not. He was doing a relocation guide for Las Vegas. I don't think he did it yet, but that's the power. And you don't have to, like, hers is just Canva. Just make something pretty. I would put comment the word, whatever it is here. So when they're scrolling, they're not looking at the actual caption. But even that, I mean, 11 different comments off of her first try. Then you take that feedback, tweak it, iterate it, try again. Tweak it, iterate it, try again. And like I said, if you only have one niche, if you're only looking to work with first-time homebuyers, you could create every single post has the same word. You only set up that bot one time and you're done. It's just on autopilot 24/7 for you.
How often would you trip this?
How often would I drip it?
Yeah.
I would comment the word on every single post if you're looking for lead generation. Yeah, even if you're in an open house. Because what you're doing is, hey, I'm in an open house at 123 East Main Street. By the way, I have a free guide for the 7 tips. Comment the word, and even though you're marketing the open house, you're still running people through that funnel because it's relevant, the buyer guide to the open house if they don't know what they're doing. So that is what I would do initially today in that 3-step process. And I will actually take the template I've already built and send it to your front desk. That way, all you guys have to do is edit it to be your own. Awesome. Any questions on that? I want to go like 5 more minutes and then give you guys about half an hour to ask questions and do whatever Q&A you want. All right, so we did that. The last part of this, I'm just going to run through. This is a little bit more complex, but this is how you start to build out AI bots. And I heard you talking about Zapier earlier. Make.com is the same thing. It's just more visual, in my opinion. I choose to use it. This is where you start to get the API keys. This is where you start to connect different platforms to do different things. This is more complex. So if you're not there yet, know that it's possible, but don't drown in, you know, I gotta learn this, because this is something that you can do down the line. What this allows you to do is take different platforms. So for example, this could be a Google form, a Tally form, whatever, and build bots that will walk through and actually complete tasks for you. So for example, this one, what it does, let me see, grab, 1 second. Go back. So like this one, for example, is how I automate some of the social media. I have a Google Sheet, I drop a word or a link, a news article, whatever, into the Google Sheet, and then I have a bot that actually analyzes that information, writes the copy, sends it to my email for me to approve it. And then I have bots that this one's specifically trained to be an Instagram bot. This one's specifically trained to be a Facebook bot, and they will tweak and change and write and give different outputs. So you can build things like this that literally are just on automation 24/7 for you. And that's how you can build and scale. This one, for example, you could have a buyer fill out a form of what's your budget, what's the area you're looking in, what's your timeline, things like that. And then what it would do is ChatGPT would summarize it. 11 Labs would clone your voice and it would actually send them a share link in your voice of here's your 60-day plan, your 90-day plan, whatever that looks like. So this is just ideas of what you could build down the line. Is anyone here doing YouTube or long form content? No, okay. I'll skip over this then. This basically just takes long form content and AI will chop it into short form content for Instagram, Reels, or TikToks and things like that.
What app do you use for that?
Yeah,
Opus?
Opus. So I could take an hour-long webinar and I can just drop the YouTube link in there and it will chop it up into 25 to 35 different short form content. And the cool thing with that is Opus is actually owned by Google. So it'll actually rank the virality based off of the topic. So it'll say, this has got a 99% chance of going viral. This one has a 16% chance of going viral based on. If you're ADHD like me, Blitzit is great. Blitzit is, it takes the Pomodoro effect. So it'll literally say, here's, the task that you need to complete. Here's the 80%, the 20%, and then it will actually black out your entire screen. So you can focus on nothing but that for the time that you allow it. So say I have a marketing campaign I want to do. I think it should take me 20 minutes. It will black out my entire screen except for that one thing. And then the clock will count down. And once 20 minutes is up, it'll say, all right, you're done, moving on to the next task. So it keeps you on track.
Is that a free app?
Blitzit does have a free version. Yep. I think I pay very minimal, like $12, $15 a month for it. And the cool thing about this is, like I said, let me see if I can pause this. So see here, like you could put in, this should take me 10 minutes, that should take me 30 minutes. You pull it all in, hit Blitz now, and it will actually black out your screen with just a timer and what you're trying to work on. I won't get into Monica, she's a little bit more complex too. This one's very helpful if you create any sort of like a buyer consultation or a presentation of any kind. This is another free version. It's called Napkin AI. What this does is if you had, we'll just go back to your lead magnet, for example. If you had a buyer guide, for example, yep, and you wanted to create visuals so it was easier for your clients to understand. All you'd have to do is go to Napkin AI, click on New Napkin. You could either import a file or just start with blank. I'll just start with blank. And what I could do is just copy in this entire guide that him and I just created in a matter of seconds with AI, drop it into Napkin AI, and then have it create visuals. So for example, if I wanted a visual for this portion, I would just copy it and hit this little blue button. And now the AI is going to create visuals based upon that information. So here's 3 steps. You can have it in different colors, different schemes. You want it to be a funnel, blocks. So it's helpful in creating visuals of the same information that, otherwise would be a paragraph of information, things like that. So if you didn't know what to post for your Instagram post, you could come in here and create each step as a visual, screenshot those, make that your post, and you're off to the races. So again, it would just be copy, highlight this information. Why is it working? Oh, let me get out of this. So if I wanted to do step 3, I could just highlight this, click that blue button, and that's all I have to do. And it will create me multiple variations of that information. And if you want to stay on brand, you can actually customize it to be certain colors, text codes, whatever you want. All right, let me see if there's anything else. All right, so quick recap, and then we'll go into some questions and answers for the last 30 minutes. AI is not here to replace you. It is here to make your life easier. If you can use Google, you can use AI. What's the chuckle over there
The
for?
chuckle is this makes it more complicated.
I promise you, if you give it 15-20 minutes a day and just sit down for 15-20 minutes and start to actually like use it with the prompting, use it with the napkin, whatever it is that you want to utilize. Don't utilize all of it in the beginning because you're gonna get super overwhelmed. But if his one thing is he needs lead generation, he can use the prompt to create the lead magnet, set up the ManyChat, and within 45 minutes, he's now creating leads. That starts to build momentum. And then once you have that task off of your plate and it's automated, you move on to the next thing and then the next thing. So if you remember back to the beginning, when I said the first thing is going to be where are those bottlenecks, right? So if his bottleneck is lead generation and he takes that part off of his plate and automates it, now he can move on to his next thing, which might be internal processes or standard operating procedures or
Cleaning up my inbox.
cleaning up your inbox.
Seriously?
There's an AI for that. No. Fixer.
Okay.
But you can start to utilize in every single sense. And here's the cool thing. Back to my point earlier, if I go over here to ChatGPT and I have no idea what I'm using or what I'm doing, I am a real estate agent who is brand new. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this in temporary because I don't want it to remember this in my own ChatGPT. At using AI, what are the top 3 things I can automate today to save me 10 hours or more a week? Now, if you just want ChatGPT to go out and find that information for you, that's one thing. Or you could take everything that we just talked about and dump all your notes from today in a Notebook LM and have it go off of those sources. But either way, the AIs can do all the heavy lifting for you and make sure that you have, you know, a plan, a guide, a roadmap to where you want to go. So this is saying, I didn't dump any information in about what we talked about. This is saying client communication and follow-ups. Here's what they would automate. Here's how you do it. Listing description, social media, content writing. Here's what to automate. Here's how you do it. So if you don't know the answer, just ask the ChatGPT, but be specific. Who you are, what your bottleneck is, and the problem you're having, and it will walk you through step by step everything that you should be doing. It's like hiring a CPA and being like, do all the things, but also tell me why you're doing the things, but also replace yourself because you're telling me why you're no longer needed. You know what I mean? Like,
Also tell me what.
it'll do all of it for you. Yeah. And to your point, you know, if it does start to create other ideas within you, just write those down and then be like, hey, back to that guide that we are going to create or back to that worksheet we are going to create, and it'll do it all for you. You just got to, you know, kind of pick and choose as you're starting to train it and it's starting to learn your business, what you want it to actually be doing for you. But like I said, spending a few hours a day for the next 2 weeks will give you weeks of your life back. So I did the math on this. This was as of last week, I think, but 29 weeks are left in 2025. So if you save 15 hours a week, that's 435 hours you'll save just from today to the end of 2025. Divide that by 40-hour work week, that's 10.8 full work weeks you'll get back. Just by taking a little bit of time to learn and implement AI into any area of your business that, you know, you feel comfortable. It just keeps like blinking, like, is that true? Is that real? Like, let me, yeah.
Trying to decide what I'm gonna do.
I know, right? And it's the thing is that's how you could either scale your business, you could go on more vacation, you could enjoy life and not be on the hamster wheel that we're all on. Even the follow-up. I mean, if you just took lead generation with that lead magnet and lead follow-up off of your plate, not only how much time will you save, but how much happier will you be?
How much of your business comes from a personal referral or repeat client versus new stuff pulled off the internet through the bots?
Yeah, so we've been historically about 85% referral based. So the bots haven't really replaced what we've done. It's just added an extra division of lead generation in for our business. So, you know, the Facebook leads that we get, we don't run ads specific to our team. We do run ads for like open houses or, you know, when we have, for example, downtown market right now. We have like 6 different properties that were for sale all within a couple blocks. So we did like 6 different open houses all at the same time and ran some ad money behind that. So they're all specific for a need, but I mean, you could run, you know, I'm Michelle and I'm a real estate agent and I want to help you find a house. It doesn't have to be specific to a certain thing. It could just be marketing for yourself. So you get to choose and customize however you want to use it. Awesome. Any questions? We got about 25 minutes left. Any questions, comments, concerns, ideas, inspiration?
Are there any limitations on ChatGPT?
Yes.
Like, was there certain things that it absolutely will not?
As to what it won't do? No.
Okay.
It'll try to do all the things.
Like, even if I said, what is today's winning lottery number?
It'll try. No. It'll try. Will it be right?
That's the game.
Probably as good as you are. But there are limitations depending, like if you have the free version, you only get so many tokens. So the output can only be so much per day. For example, I do not pay for the $200 a month. So 4.5 version that's on beta right now, I can only use it, I think it's like 12 times within a certain amount of days before it says, hey, you've maxed out.
Yeah.
You gotta wait till this date and then freeze up. But as far as like AI Studio, Notebook LM, all of those are free up to like 1 million tokens. So unless you're writing an entire like series of books, you're not gonna run out day to day.
But it is worth it going pro for at least the chat.
I use Pro ChatGPT for many reasons. It reminds, the memory, the projects, the custom GPTs, and the personalization are the top 4. Because like I said, if you don't have the $20 every single time you get in there, you gotta tell it again who you are, what you do, which in my world, $20 a month is worth the hours that would take just to get the outputs I'm looking for. Any other questions? Yeah,
So I guess for an example, if I wanted to do a neighborhood farm postcard once a month. And I could go into ChatGPT to say, hey, plan out 12 postcards. Will it connect with Canva, design the postcard?
yeah. I actually have a client of mine who she does expireds and I kick myself because she's in our market and I taught her how to do this and I didn't think of it myself. But we built a bot on make.com where all she has to do is dump in the expired listings. And we created a bot that will write the letter. So it'll be personalized, you name, address, days on market, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It will put the letter into a template for her. It will send it off to a company called Stamped, who will actually print the letter, stuff the letter, post the letter, and mail it off. All she has to do is put an address or a list of addresses into an Excel spreadsheet, and it's done. 87 cents per.
Usually had success with it.
Yeah,
You offer consultation.
I do. I do. I always say
How do
that.
we sign up?
I always say that for last.
Yeah.
How do you make it?
Cause I
Well,
don't wanna do it.
Dude, the only reason I'm here is because Brian drove all the way to Atlanta to see me speak, so I'm paying it forward.
This is pro bono.
This is pro bono for Brian. If it wasn't for Brian, I wouldn't be here. No, I'm joking. Yeah, so I do offer consultations. I also, back to that school community. If you are interested, and it's not gonna be for everyone, actually, I upped the price, but I'll change it back for you guys real quick. If you want to be a part of the community, it's $97 a month or $9.97 a year, so you'd save basically 2 months. Let me change the pricing for you guys real quick. And in there, what I do is I go live, so we have group coaching, but I also give you copy and paste of everything that I do. So for example, when you look back, I'll just go into. Hold on 1 second. Go. Just change this up, pricing for you guys real quick if you're interested. Settings. Whoop. I will change it back to this one. Okay. So again, here is the link if you want it. I go live weekly group coaching. I have a full course in there. You have my AI prompt library of everything I've ever written. You have access to all of my copy and paste for different workflows and ManyChat, Make.com, all the replays of everything I've ever done. And what the community looks like is it's very engaging. So it's a lot like a Facebook group where people can post and comment and change and things like that. But in the classroom is where the value is. So all the custom GPTs, you can literally come in here to my prompt library and say, all right, I want a marketing prompt for Instagram growth and engagement. And you could just copy this instead of having to really learn and do all of the things. Same for Make.com, same for that ManyChat scenario, all of the replays I ever do. You can see all the live calls, you can go back and watch them. So that's where the value is the live calls and the fact that you can go back and copy and paste basically everything.
Can you go back to your?
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, of course.
The question I have for you is that little follow-up website of your, where they move from.
Yeah, so that's the AI powered CRM that I built. That will also be on market here soon. I never intended for it to be, but I get that question a lot. So I have a development team working on it now. What I'm trying to do honestly is because so many people are on command, I'm trying to get the backdoor API key to command. That way I can connect what I've already done with command and allow all of it to be.
Okay, that would be awesome.
I'm working on it. Let's just put it that way. But
I would be your beta tester.
the power, but the power of it is, you know, whether you're on command or Salesforce or whatever it is, having some sort of automation where the ChatGPT is not just guessing like a drip campaign of here is value, here's value. It's actually analyzing and reasoning and then responding. It's totally different, you know, how that conversation goes. So school community is the group. I also do have one-on-ones that I can do, whether you want like monthly coaching, all the way down to I just need 90 minutes of your time to implement one thing. Look, I'll just give you guys my phone number. You can just text me. It's 614-795-8822. And that is not a bot, that is actually me. 614-795-8822. And whether you're part of the school community or not, I do offer a quick, like, let's jump on for 15-30 minutes and just free talk about what your needs are, and how I can help you. And then we'll go from there, whether you want to, you know, jump into the community or have one-on-one. I have some people who do both. You know, they get a lot out of the group coaching, but they also are like, hey, I need like specific one-on-one stuff. That's fine too. It's really up to you how you want to go about it.
Hey, just a quick question. If I was going to start setting up an AI budget, what do you think is like a max for somebody just starting out?
Just starting out, I would say your budget would be $20 a month for ChatGPT, $15 a month for ManyChat if you want to use lead generation. And the only other thing I would say is if you're on Canva, we've had Canva Pro for forever. I can't remember what that costs, but if you do want, you know, that bright shiny object of like a buyer consultation or a buyer packet, that's the easiest way to do it. But
Less than $100.
I would say less than $100, yeah. Probably less than $70, honestly. Yeah, and like I said, even the bots of Make.com, the more complex stuff, I pay $108 a year for that. So even my stack, and I'm very like complex, I think my stack is like 200, maybe $250 a month.
Oh.
But keep in mind, I'm not having to pay someone to do that. The bots are doing it. So that monthly charge is much less than what a salary would be.
Oh, and then when you spread it across 12 months.
Yep. So I'm at a point now where, like I said, we have a lot of internal stuff. We still have a transaction coordinator because we still want that relationship building. But we've automated a lot of the internal flows, a lot of the, you know, who gets what notification when. like I said, the bots that will actually read the reviews, reply to the reviews. They'll move them through our pipeline. We set up the funnels to attract them in. So like the lead magnet we made for you is very simple on Google Doc. I've actually created funnels now where it looks like a full-blown landing page with videos and stuff like that that will attract people through too. So I mean, start small, just start. Right? It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be fancy, just start and get used to the automation and then see, okay, this is working, this isn't working, iterate a little bit and then start to scale it. But it doesn't have to be anything more, like I said, than a quick free Google document on free ChatGPT and use the free ManyChat version and then post it on free Instagram. That's $3.03 to start getting leads. And like I said too, to her point over there, if you don't know, if you get stuck on something, just ask the AI, hey, I'm stuck on this, what can I do? Or join the community and I'll help you do. But yeah, so I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope you implement something, whether it's lead generation or not, just, you know, get to a point where before you get on Google, jump on ChatGPT and command it. Don't ask it, command it. Like I said, instead of saying, I want to create, or how do I create a lead follow-up? You are an ISA expert. Your job is to create me step by step. This is exactly what I want you to do. Ask me any questions if you feel so. Awesome. And then the last ask I have for you guys, if you wouldn't mind, is obviously I'm traveling all over the nation right now doing this class. So if you wouldn't mind leaving some sort of a review, I would appreciate it very, very much. But like I said, whether you are part of the community or not, I will be happy to give you guys a free 15-30-minute consultation, answer your questions specifically, and kind of see how I can help. Or not, it's not going to be for everybody. There's some people who don't want to use AI, and that's totally fine. But I am here to be a source if you need it. And like I said, I'm here because I love Brian Kemp. So you guys have that. You have that going for you. Now he's ROP too. So that works out. Of course. Yeah. Of course. I already sent over the slide deck, but I'll send it in like the interactive form, not just the PDF, and then I'll give you the ManyChat workflow, and then I'll put my calendar and just link in that way you have one email to send out to people.
Perfect. That's perfect. Thank you so much.
Of course. I'll stick around for like a minute in case anybody has any questions, and we'll go from there. But if not, follow me on Instagram and let me know what you're doing, and I would love to hear your wins.
That was awesome.
All right.
That was awesome.
You turned to the software engineer.
I have a degree in criminal justice administration, sir. I am not like.
It's like design thinking and like.
No. When I tell you this was all built off of late night and YouTube, I might have left out a couple glasses of wine, but that is it. It was nothing. I am not like covered. I built all of it. So
The whole venue.
You could have been.
yeah. Maybe one day in another life. All right, let me exit out of all of this.
Yes,
because-
please do, but.
This was cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll work with you.
Okay. Okay, she's making an email. I'm sure she's not.
I don't want to send out every.
It was good to see you. Thanks, you too.
Lauren, are you doing anything with?
I need to go to get to meet.
In terms of. market center.
Not better.
Yeah. So basically what I'm doing is, like next week I'm in Atlanta, the whole week. So I'm hitting, KWYP down there and 6 market centers. Some of them are doing exclusive, there's with the ELC. Most of them are doing like, I'm gonna teach for 4 hours and then it's a recruiting happy hour networking type thing. I was gonna direct people in. So that would be probably the best way is like, hey, you know, get a big training room and have agents bring in recruits or, you know, whatever.
This is a great birthday. But like as far as like the bots and all of this. Like,
Oh, yeah,
How do we translate that?
Yeah.
Kind of what to do.
Absolutely. You can build bots that are, you know, specific landing pages or lead magnets or whatever. Yeah, for you guys, and go from there for sure. We could build out the automation on the back end and follow up and retention and onboarding and offboarding and
just paste it in there.
it's all possible.
Yeah, okay. Well, I like that answer.
all possible.
That's awesome.
All right, let me.
Sorry, I was here late. We were, I don't know. If it got up to you, but I got on 270 in Easton and it was.
I heard, I came down 315, thank God.
Oh.
I'm sorry, no, I came down, Blair's Park, 71, 270. Yeah. It's okay, I can give you this one time, just don't let it happen again.
We had, I think, 14 or 15 on Zoom.
Great.
Yeah.
And like I said,
we had almost 30 RSVPs, so I think between physically last panel
and you're welcome if you want to like take the recording and send it out if you want, I don't care.
I think what we're gonna do is we have a hub website where we put all of our, would you prefer that it be in the password protected? Place? I just wanna be.
I've got YouTube videos out there, I've got, I mean, whatever.
Okay.
Easy going.
Yeah.
If I can help one person. I leave on Sunday. I mean, it's just like.
You know,
All this started, by the way, like 80 days ago. March 17th is my launch.
so Joanne and I were in the back trying to log in, and when you're in your KW email, you can't get on, like the first 3 that you had suggested.
Oh, okay.
You
So you
had
have
to
to
log
personal
out
email.
and go into, so tell them to fix that.
Which
That
day?
I'm nervous for.
Very informative, that was about.
It was a lot to take, yeah, we're gonna have the recording and the slides so you can revisit it.
So,
Yeah, we'll show you
We're
where
going golf
everything is.
Oh.
I'll
Next week.
dial in.
Or when do you guys leave?
I leave Sunday, I come back Saturday. I'm here next week.
I'm still getting, I don't know what the idea.
Knoxville, Vegas.
That's-
But I think it's gonna take over the world.
Yeah.
But trying not to contact it, try to be a part.
Yeah, I know, I was like, it's here, it's my celebration, figure out how to tell it what to do, right?
Right,
I think
right.
that was an aha, I actually. You have to tell
And then.
them what to
instead
do,
of asking-
instead of asking it, like how it's.
That's what I was
So,
doing.
yeah.
Here I find out that's one of the things that-
Yeah, that you're actually the boss of it,
Yeah.
but like tonight, I'm talking like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why did I think of that? Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna finish my meetings.
Perfect. Tomorrow is an open house panel, so everybody can talk together to. One of the things you learned is do open houses for. To get. But what is not taught a lot is best practice around getting people to the open house and the follow up and so that connection with the lead after to actually convert them to the clients. So it's not just how to do an open house, it's gonna be higher level stuff to give, help you build your database and your clients. So it'll be that'll be a good one too. And then the market center's closed on Thursday. And then Friday we try to leave open, agents are getting ready for the weekend and on their open houses and working with clients. So usually if we've got classes, it's no later than Thursdays. Occasionally we'll have something on Friday, but Fridays we like everybody to breathe and get ready for the weekend and all the stuff that they've got going on. Yeah. So.
I have not.
No, it's fine. What Ashley's gonna do is she's sending the onboarding, so you'll complete that. It's gonna ask you who your sponsor is on that form. I am not supposed to tell you who that is. But the best candidate, Joe, you can make that decision, but I don't know that connection with.
I know.
That's why I'm like, it's gonna ask, she's gonna send that rigor in that email. She input my information for you to gather before you sit down and do it, like your basic account information.
I think you have to do
direct
it.
deposit. And then once that's completed, she's going to introduce you to
That's what I was
our
doing.
productivity coach. And then I would get an appointment on her calendar soon, and you and I kind of left it open, you were interested in coaching, and so meet with her and learn what that process, what that looks like. And then we can talk about, we talked about. There's what.
All right, I'll just.
Yeah, I don't want. All my other steps are like regular solutions. Her job is to get you into the systems, best practices. You're gonna talk through your goals and she's gonna put a plan in place for you to get there. So totally up to you how you wanna proceed with that. But this will be your next step. And then you just keep coming in classes and let us know what you need. But she's really, so she's in the field, she knows.
Yeah, that's really good.
What's going on and.
That's, I was
Anyway,
trying to.
she's a great resource. So talk with her and then let me know about your conversation.
Now this is, she did it one, some of that. This is right, I know where, right, this is right.
That's right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, like,
All right, it's, I'm ready to hug. It's good to see you and us in here and we'll just keep going. All right. Thank you so much. Great, wonderful.
I'll sit right here since I got.
Thank you.
Oh.
Brian.
Yeah, they actually covered that. I got 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. 6:30. We.
Thank you again. It was nice to meet you in person. Absolutely. Like, we can talk lunch.
Thank you so much.
Going to watch. I miss. They want from you, so. But she was really with someone else.
I was working for a thing. He was like.
Which is fine. You should go on Stafford Road, up and down, get it over at Stafford Road, top to 10. I'm gonna invite myself along with that.
When you do gross.
Yeah. That's not fair. It's a.
You can be like, no,
They feel like
no, no.
negative for me, this.
There's all there.
Two bed, it's a 3 and 3 for back, so. One of the beds are upstairs, they have. Okay, good luck, it's really today, so that's coming up. And someone, tell me, may I take a look at my house on Wednesday? Absolutely, but it's gonna be a nice. I got it. Maybe. Just. Yeah, no. So I had the real estate, that was contingent on them like, right? So that kind of finally was in the contract. But. Yeah.
They haven't gone. They haven't collected their Facebook, their YouTube, they want their Facebook and word of mouth, so I'm like, I'm sorry, until you get either a reputable lender or your lender actually does what it needs to do on that. It's especially those that are like under 200,000 and you know. You're gonna be working for months and months and months and then come to find out if the lender can do their diligence. Then the whole thing will fall apart, so I don't know. Not- Yeah, no. Yeah. Yes. So. That. But then you think you need to come. You know. Have already 200 people. Sorry. That's what I'm like, but I have a lot right now. It's great. But I feel like I'm really good at it, you know. Yeah. That's what. How do I? Okay, I want the picture of it. Where's the number? Yeah, this is what I think I'm gonna do before, mastering open house. So I'm gonna do it in my house. That's it. I think that I have office around. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. No. This is, I'm not, I'm thinking. No. It is, no, it's Delaware school. Yeah. And yeah, it's a nice fun. It's kind of gonna. Has a water now. It is cute. It's cute. Have the Murphy's bed in one of the bedrooms. Yeah. It's attached, so it's like. Would you bought it and had it? But yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm not excited. I'm excited to do this. Yes. Yeah, you know, Brian did another house, that we find. And, it's actually that way. Yeah, he did it this Sunday, no, this Saturday. He's actually. I mean, I'm going to use this. Yeah. I think, one of my friends that was in hospice. So one of his, hospice, Facebook, she reached out. Yeah, and so I'm helping her buy a house. Yeah, I thought that was so sweet. Very sweet, so. My mom. No, that was all.
Okay.
That is no,
Okay, I was
no,
like-
no, my mom loves that dog.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, Snowball, she is, spoiled brat. Oh, yeah, they love each other. Oh. They found it the first minute they saw it, so the Snowball was like wagging her tail, was wrapping herself on my mom's leg. And so we have cameras watching my mom, right, this, we told her either we put cameras or you come up with one of us, you don't have to wait, you have to, don't make me force that on you, like. Cameras, or you come to the. So it's just like, well, sometimes, and they're only for emergency,
Right,
just to make sure that she woke up that day, moved around that day, so if we don't see any activity, it's an alarm.
Yeah.
So, I think the plane was going outside. Inside, the dog was constantly on her white sofa, she kind of. Mountain dogs. And, I mean, she tried, and then within the first week, she would get rid of it. So I was a little nervous, because she's gonna be. Like, and so. And nobody else thought about it. Well, that's how I feel this way. You gotta be kidding, I'm like, but it's the cutest thing to watch. She loves them, of course. Yeah, no, that was on someone else's dog that actually, is in a similar situation as my friend. And, I had someone reach out to me, they reached out so many and they didn't have a big platform. So I was like, I mean, they first offered it to me, I'm like, I'm not ready. If not, I would take it. Right, and, so I did within, I kid you not, maybe 15 minutes, 6 people came up, like, send me messages. But the lady is having more time separated from the dog. I'm like, listen, I can't work magic, like, you're lucky all these people came up. And they're the people I know that. But, it was my mother, the dog, and she, they took care of them, and, once the other one was one of my whole, back, what, 21 years ago, my supervisor of mine, back in the day, and it she. Real funny. I told her, it may come. Yeah, but she knows she's gonna die, she has a great in a second. She knows she's going to die. Yeah, she knows, and now she's gone. Like, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. Yeah, she's moving in August. She's moving in August. She's moving. Today they have to take her in August. So she is from now to August. So I've been, like, I felt bad for people who were kidding me. I'm like, okay, I did it. Yeah, I did. Yeah, because I'm with them. Yeah, I told her my friend was that she's having a time processing. She knows she's very fast. The those are, it is something in the same way as snow. And those dogs are. Smart, they're so smart, and they're very, so real, attached to the tail. So I can see one, you know. She. Yeah, no, I knew people were gonna think it, because they look like snowball. Yeah. Yeah. And almost, I almost thought about it, I'm like, I travel so much, I'm comfortable working. And I took snowball to, grocery store, so, me off. And I was like, I don't know, like, cause that would be, maybe I'll just take the dog to shopping. And I don't wanna get into a fight. I say, I could get into a fight, my mom was there. And you. Yeah. That's what I was like. The dog was on the floor. I was walking through the road. When I walked in with a. That was just like, you know what, I just grabbed the dog, I carried him. I mean, she doesn't weigh much, but. Yeah. I'll. I want. That was up. Didn't really worry about it, I mean. He says. There's no concrete. we said that like there's no concrete evidence of this happening, that they're pre more. We're like, you know. One thing, you know, that's what happened on the ice. They have their own sort of thoughts, so, we have a new chief investor. So. What is the- That's there's an officer. Then as far as I style, we get on the country. You know, go in far, like this, in town, in criminal, right, that, and nothing. Yeah. We had a page, so we up here, we basically on the line. Out of money, over $20,000. figuring out on what. So we got this,
Sorry, did you guys?
You're okay, we do it 12:30, but
No, you're
you
fine.
can hang out.
Oh, no, I was just trying to figure out this Facebook page.
Do you just wanna leave them? Just leave.
Okay.
I mean, really, who cares? Like, this is, we're so, such a small group today. Mason's not here.
Mason, he's gone.
He left this morning. This,
Well, and then he came back, so
where's he at?
I thought he was here. Did he leave again? Cause he left, went to Easton. He came back.
Oh, he came back. Oh, he's right there.
I'm gonna say he's back.
Oh, I haven't
Cause he
seen.
was
him
in
since.
there when I went and got chicken tenders.
He was?
He was sitting there,
I've not seen him. So,
but then he has to go back.
it's.
He has to go back.